Well, there goes the neighborhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this very first February in the year 2021 for the 784th episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife Joyce, who's taking care of the back end of the show. Actually, this program is probably 97% back end and 3% horse's end. But it's just what we do. It's humor, it's talk, it's music, it's culture, it's fun. 3 hours a week, every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts. And we're calling this one Wild About Harry. Just Wild About Harry. Notice the lovely poster, as it were, that my wife designed, because we've got our guest in the neighborhood is a longtime friend and colleague. Yes. Longtime friend and colleague Harry Haun, Haun. Harry Haun, who I knew long before I was even working in the theater industry per se, because back from like the 70s, he was writing lots and lots of articles for Playbill magazine. You would go into the theater and you'd flip through and there'd be the table of contents and all these car advertisements and Fendi jewelry advertisements. And then like the first actual article you would read would be an interview with some incredibly famous theater celebrity, and it would be done by Harry Haun. And there'd probably be two or three of those in every issue of Playbill, going back like 40-something years, right? And then I ended up working for a bunch of years at Playbill.com, the website. I knew him there. I was actually his editor there for a little while. And then just, he stayed at Playbill for a bunch of years, has written for a bunch of other places. He is an entertainment journalist. He's written books about movie quotes. It's actually called the Great Movie Quote Book. A couple of other books about movies, I believe. So notice we have the star, because he's interviewed so many stars, and he'll be the star of this episode. We've got Twitter, even though he doesn't seem to have a Twitter account. We've got a bird, because he gets information out there. The camera, of course, entertainment. A big old thumbs up, because he doesn't really, I don't recall if he ever did any theater reviews. He mostly does theater journalism and interview kind of stuff. But I think with movies, he sort of does the Ebert and Siskel thumbs up, thumb down. We'll ask him about that. It's Harry Haun, and he will be our guest in the neighborhood a bit later in the show as I kind of talk about his life, his career, and gosh, in the circles that we both moved in for several years as well. Should be a lot of fun. And Harry has promised to stick around with his husband, Charles, to play our Yesterday trivia quiz game. We do that every week. Generally, our in-house contestants are David Sheward and Leslie Hoban Blake, both of them theater critics. So we got the critics versus the journos here.
That's going to be like the blood and the Crips.
Joyce says that will be like the blood and the Crips, because it's going to be
What's in the Crips? I don't know.
The critics versus the journos. Leslie Hoban Blake and David Sheward going up against Harry Haun and his husband Charles Nelson. So it should be a lot of fun. Our trivia game, by the way, is really cool. Today is February 6th, 2021. There have been many, many February 6th preceding this one. And the quiz is all about stuff that happened in history on February 6th. It's just stay with us. That's all you gotta do. I do these long introductions to what's going to be on the show, when really the only thing I have to tell you is, you're here, you're on the Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Stay here, because you'll see Inside Broadway, where we talk about stuff that happened in Broadway theater this week. There's a little bit of positive Broadway news, as well as a bunch of dead people to tell you about. But I care about the theater. I mean, that's why I'm having Harry Haun on the show. So I like to tell you, hey, here's what's happening. These are some legends. We did lose two legendary people of the theater this week, and I'll tell you about them. And although I, Dave Lefkowitz, will be doing the interview with Harry Haun, since we go back, we're colleagues, but that doesn't mean this will be a soulless or soulless episode of Dave's Gone By, because we will have the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. He will be reading the papers. Hasn't done this in a bunch of weeks. This is a lot of fun. He goes through a couple of Jewish newspapers, not in Yiddish, but town Jewish newspapers in Nassau County, very geared to the Orthodox, modern Orthodox Haredi sect and clan and whatever you want to call it. And he finds the most interesting, fun things that a rabbi would and shares them with you. It's kind of like what we do every week, also as part of this program, that is called Greeley Crimes and Old Times. That is when we go into the newspaper of Greeley, Colorado, which is where Joyce and I have lived for a bunch of years. And we, there are 2 columns in that newspaper.
That's all that's left.
That's right. There's no news left, and they had to fire everybody. Even before the pandemic, they were in financial trouble. Then they stopped publishing 3 days a week, and they're only published 4 days a week now. And they were bought out by somebody, so they're not hanging on by their dirty little fingertips. So forget, they don't need news. They still do some sports, but they fire all the regular sports people, and they get like college kids to send in articles. But there are 2 columns, God bless them, that they keep going at the Greeley Tribune. There is Cop Log, which are amusing phone calls that come into the Greeley and Weld County Police Dispatch of people who notice something happening in their neighborhood. And we're like, help, police, please, police, check out this awful, terrible thing. There's a cat peeing on my fence. And police may or may not show up for that, but it becomes public record if they've made the phone call to to the police department. And so the Greeley Tribune collects all of those and prints the funniest ones once a week, and we share the best with you.
Do you have the noisemakers?
There should be, they're here. They're very important elements of the trade.
We could just...
Here you go. There's another one here also. So, and the Greeley Tribune publishes once a week something called 100 Years Ago, and this is really neat. Our friend over there, Mike Peters, he goes through the newspapers back in 1920, and now I guess it's 1921, 100 years ago, and finds the most goofy, nostalgic, funny things that were legitimately printed in the paper back then, and brings them back and puts them in the paper now. And we look at that and go, oh, weren't we quaint 100 years ago? Were we? We'll find out. We mix them up in our segment, Greeley Crimes and Old Times. So let's see. And how can I forget the one other thing that we do every week on Dave's Gone By? We do a poem, a terrible little poem, called The Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And this is where, because we've been living in Colorado for all these years, I create a little 4-line amusing poemette, a 5-line limerick dedicated to a particular place in the state of Colorado. And, there are ones we know about. There's Boulder, there's Vail, Arvada, Greeley, Evans, etc. And then there's places, if you go on a map or you go on some websites, it's like, there's a town called this, yeah. But there's basically thousands of towns in this square state in the middle of America. And you find them, and if I can rhyme some things with them, and especially if I can rhyme some unbelievably horrible and sick things with them, makes my day. And I hope it makes yours. That's why we call them the Colorado Limericks of the Damned. So yes, we have a big, wonderful, typical episode of Dave's Gone By for you. What, Ben? So, Joyce is over there doing the watch party.
I found a way to DM people.
Oh, well, terrific. So, yeah, if you get or your friends get a message to watch us and join the show, please do. We'd love to also hear from you. If you want to type back to us, if you're a Facebook friend during the program, we'll try and read it and get back to you. Otherwise, of course, you can email me, davesgoneby@aol.com, or post right on my Facebook page, right in the message, and we hope to see you. Anyway, so it's been a week. It's been another week here in the neighborhood. What do I have to tell? Well, we had the snowstorm this week, and we've got another one possibly coming tomorrow. Yeah. So here's what I'd love to know. It's like, um, I did my due diligence. I shoveled and shoveled and shoveled. It's the same story that I told a month ago. Same exact thing happened. We have an enormous snowstorm, like more than a foot, I think it was. I go out there in the middle of the day. Thank goodness it stopped coming down in any really plentiful way after about noon or 1 o'clock. So I go out and I'm like, okay, let me just make sure the car can get out. Because that is actually the biggest pain in the ass thing, except for one other that I'll tell you about. The car, when you have a big snowstorm, it just, you figure, oh, great. The car's in the middle, and whatever the car is covering doesn't get snowed on. So that's a part that you don't have to shovel. The problem is, it just sits there on the car, on the windshield. So you shovel around the car, then you start trying to get all the snow wherever you can reach off the car, so when you drive it, you don't have snow falling on the cars in front and back of you and right in front of you as you're driving. So you push all this mounds of snow. It is amazing what a RAV4 can collect on itself in icy water. It's huge. You would never imagine. You figure, okay, just get some snow off the car, clear off the wind. No, when you get a bunch of snow, and that is worse. It really is worse than just kind of clearing up a straight path down a driveway or a walkway. Because now it's like push off that, and you have to get a long stick and push off one side of the hood, and then off the other side of the hood, and the top of the car, and then shovel again. Because once you push the snow off the car, where's it going? It's going on the driveway. More shoveling. And as I'm shoveling, right, and as I'm doing this, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm getting close to finishing. I'm getting close to the point where I need to sort of stop. And this, in one way, even though there was more snow, this snowstorm from a week ago, last like Sunday, Monday, was not as bad as the previous one because it was a lighter, fluffier snow. It was actually physically easier to lift and to shovel. So I'm like, oh, okay, I've got this. And then the worst, most horrible bitch of it is that when the plows come, we all know this, and the plows come up and down the road, and what do they do? The whole point of shoveling is that you or the post person or any kind of emergency worker can get from the gutter, from the middle of the street, to your house without getting bogged down in snow or slipping on ice. That's all. Otherwise, why bother shoveling? We can put on high boots and just clomp through it. Right, the car. Nobody drives a little Volkswagen Beetle anymore. Everybody drives monster SUVs that can go over like a foot of snow if they had to. We do it in respect of our neighbors, and when we go, okay, I'm gonna do this out just in case we have to go, just in case I got groceries and so forth, and then people have to come up and come up and see us, right? So we do it. And as I'm doing it, we have a guy across the street, and I can tell he's in a bad mood because he's just been out there and he's shoveling and he's got a snow blower, right? He's got one of these beautiful things for a storm like this. So he's just going up and down his driveway, and he's got the kids playing on the lawn, and he's giving them sideways glances because no man wants to do this. They don't mind doing it once a year, one snowstorm a year. A guy's like, all right, I'm a man. I'm gonna tackle this. I'm gonna feel like a man. It's good hard exercise. It's hardy. It's winter. Yeah, it makes me feel like a kid again being in snow. The second snowstorm is like, oh, fuck you, God. That's the second snowstorm. That's the one where it's like, I just did this 3 weeks ago. I thought I'd have a 12-month respite before I have to pick up a shovel again or even a snowblower. Because you figure, well, snowblower is easy, but I used to mow the lawn when I was a kid
How
or
come you mowed the lawn when you had allergies?
well, I didn't. I had certain level of choices asking how come I mowed the lawn when I had allergies. I probably shouldn't have, but at a certain age, they didn't affect me the way they did when I was 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. When I was more actually allergic to various foods than I was of hay fever kinds of things anyway. And then I grew up and, everybody's a little bit allergic to pollen and grass, but it didn't bug me, And so I would wear glasses. So when you've got the lawnmower and it's kicking stuff back at you, that was the most annoying thing about mowing the lawn. If there were little twigs or dried leaves or branches, and if you happen to be wearing shorts, it was terrible because you start feel these stinging, pinging things in your calves. And then you realize, oh, I guess I should wear long pants, and then you're fine. Except it's still a pain in the ass. It still is this waste of your time. It's like half an hour, 45 minutes out of your life every week just pushing a machine back and forth. And there isn't, unlike shoveling and some other repetitive tasks, there isn't a zen to it. For me. Maybe for some people, maybe for folks and farmers, and certain people who don't mind just going back and forth and making a nice row and then turning around. I think it's too I think it's too noisy. I think for me,
And that's saying something.
it's too annoying. Joyce is saying that's saying something.
You need a drink?
No, I've got my drinks here. Thanks.
Don't cough like that.
I can't get into the zen of lawn mowing. I just want it to be over. Mainly, again, typical stuff. It's not the pushing, it's the turning. Because the pushing is fine. You go, okay, go straight, 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 straight. And then you go just 12 feet. And now you got to angle it. And you don't want to go over the sidewalk too much because it hurts the blades. And then you got to go back. And that's the turning sucks. So, again, with the snow shoveling, I'm out there. I'm dealing, I've got a good path going down the driveway. I'm dealing with a car. And then I'm seeing the guy next door, and he's kind of grumbling. He's pushing because he's trying to get this, and he's got 4 cars parked everywhere and trying to get those clean. And then he looks over at me, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe this guy is going to loan me or volunteer or whatever, a nice neighbor would, to have his snowblower for 5 minutes so that I don't have to clear a further path going to the backyard, to the garbage, to the ramp in the back and stuff. I've done the front, but I just don't have the energy or the wherewithal to go and do the back. It's too much.
David,
what?
I just invited Harry Hahn to watch himself on your show.
Excellent.
That's embarrassing. Tell him I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's weird.
So I'm figuring, okay, this guy's going to do what my cousin usually comes by and does much, much later in the day. He'll come by with a snowblower and do in 5 minutes what takes me an hour. So I say, hey, he's like, oh. I'm like, oh. But I can also tell that he's not in a particularly joyful, wintry, Andy Williams Christmas special sort of a mood.
Especially because they're Jewish, too.
This guy doesn't seem it.
Their parents are Orthodox. Somebody over there's Orthodox.
But it's something. But was it that house? Anyway.
You got the feeling.
I'm trying to think which house it was. I think it was the one, not the nearest one, but it's one over. So he's like, you can't park there. This is his first thing. Without saying anything, just if you park there, okay, it messes up the snow plowing on our side of the street. And I'm like, first of all, who are you? I've never been formally introduced to this person, right? And B, not my car, right? This is a car.
I also think there might be some.
So some what?
I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, no, but it's the car belongs to someone who works for my parents, but doesn't actually live with or have anything to do with our family. Could very well be a stranger.
They're not family because everybody's family.
Oh, yeah, and that side of the family. But I'm saying the car that he's complaining about, which, by the way, I don't know what the rules are in our area of town when it comes to snow plowing. If there's alternate sides of the street and which side is an alternate side. If nobody can park on either side of the street, except there were cars, of course, parked all along both sides of the street, because where else do you put a car? You can't fit 5 cars in a driveway, some of these families. So he's like, you can't park there. And I'm like, what? It's not mine. And he's like, well, you say it messes up the plowing. I was like, well, we got the same goddamn snow on our side of the street. What's your I understand what's your problem. But in my head, it's like, I'm out here shoveling too. I fucking hate it too. Why are you messing with me? What is it? I've got to shovel this too. I've also got to go down to the end of the driveway path and undo the heavy, annoying, icy snow lumps and clumps that were left by the plows. Right? Because it's one thing to just shovel light, fluffy snow down your driveway. It's quite another when these plows have come by, compacted it, and blocked you in. And that's the bitch. That's where you're just going, right? And now, and now I have this guy telling me.
I could only invite so many people, then there was an error on the Facebook.
Oh, all right. Maybe we'll let you do it later. You know, there's a certain time gap allowed. And I need this man yelling. So it's funny. I was like, fine. I'll tell the guy, just leave me be. You know, and I was like, and by the way, who are you? And what's your name? You know, just I'm John. Right. So his name might be John. It might be Yechezkiel. I don't know. I don't care. But I just want to go in there and tell. And I told the guy. And meanwhile, the person that I'm going to tell this to when I'm finished shoveling later is, this incredibly nice guy, not in the best of health. He's got to be in his 60s.
Who?
I'm not going to mention the name.
Probably 70s, honey.
Yeah, probably early 70s. Heart condition.
I can't find my watch part.
Other conditions. Maybe reload. And I've got to tell this person, and we're lucky that this man drove still in the middle of a snowstorm from where he lives to come and do his job. He could have very easily told the agency, no, I'm not working today. I'm not driving anywhere. It's not safe. But he went out, hustled his ass over, parked on the other side of the street so that you don't park in the driveway in back of my parents' car just in case there's an emergency. Right? So he goes through all this. He climps up to the house carefully.
Let me just tell you something. You can't win. You can't win.
Oh, I know.
There are some places you can't win. This is one of them.
And so I have to tell this poor man who shouldn't have had to come in anyway. He should have been like a snow day home for him. I've got to tell him, the guy across the street says you shouldn't park on that side of the street, you got to park on our side of the street. So instead of parking next to the snow clumps made by the snowblower, or the town snowblower when it came by, you have to park by our snow clumps on our side of the fucking street. I'm like,
you have to go over the hump of snow in the driveway.
Yeah. And he was, we've known him for like 2 years or so now. We've never seen this guy mad, but you could tell
he was pissed.
That he was pissed off.
Because I think there's a subtext. There's a subtext that it's more than just the car. It's a subtext that it's about the person, and there are certain social position characteristics of the person that were offended.
Yes, it's true. And so he and then the further indignity is this is happening just as this fella who works for my family gets to go home, right? So he's there for the day to take over for the other woman who helps out. He's leaving. He's getting now. Thank goodness, it's not really snowing much. It's like flurrying, but it's still cold. There's still yuck everywhere. There's starting to get colder and ice up a little bit. Now he's got to drive home, right? So he comes out, and this is the choice. And I'm exhausted because I've been shoveling for an hour. And he comes out and he's like, Dave, my car. I'm saying, yes. Next time, park it the other way. No, shovel out my car. Because from where he was parked, it sort of like got snowed over and around. So now I have to go out into the street.
Indignity to insult.
Shovel away more of not just fresh snow, but the snowplow snow that's all around it because his car's kind of low. It isn't this giant monster SUV. It's a more normal car. And if he were to try and go back and forward in it, he would literally get stuck.
Yeah, that's not right.
So now I've got like 10, 15 minutes more of like, son of a bitch. And it's the annoying part because when you shovel around a car, you can't just get one good thing and go, ooh. You gotta go sort of under the bumper and go and gently, delicately, like push the shovel, then ease the shovel back out before you can. Yeah. Oh man.
That's super messy.
And so what would have been kind of a not unpleasant shoveling experience for the second snowstorm of the year became like, oh God. Some guy and some neighbors crawling up my ass. I've got the well, not literally. I've got our home health aide. He's in a bad mood, and now he's calling me to do something. I'm already exhausted. It's like, oh, stop this now. Although, did you read about this? Did you hear about this story? I'm very glad I did not get further into it with the guy across the street.
There could be people. Well, I always think of like in Colorado, everybody has a gun. I wouldn't.
Well, you heard about this. This is in the news.
You stop.
In the news a day or two ago, there was an altercation between neighbors. These two neighbors got into it, and apparently they had history. But there was a snow shoveling incident, or an argument, some acrimony there that had to do with whose snow was on whose property and where they were pushing, where they were throwing it. So there's this couple, and then there's a guy, former Navy, I think also he was in the the National Guard. I mean, he military for a bunch of years. So they just made him a little too mad. So he blew their heads off. And then, this is the news. And you read the comments, and most of them are saying, I don't care how bad the argument is about snow shoveling. Probably should not kill people over it.
You know what I always admire? So Judge Judy, she's that hack judge.
Yeah.
And she said she's really aggressive, very aggressive in her personality. She said, I've lived with neighbors all my life, and I've never had to call the police on my neighbor, and I've never been able not to resolve something. So, I mean, even my parents, they share a driveway, and the one neighbor next door is a super. He wanted to park in the driveway. My dad's like, no, my dad's stubborn. And it's his driveway. And then the guy's like, I'm not going to, shovel your snow. And then I said to my mom, just say fine. Like, you can't, with neighbors, it's a very tricky balance, and everybody's not, especially with COVID, people are not mentally healthy. So if people are mentally unhealthy before COVID, and if you have history, people act, you can't predict people's behavior.
Right.
And living in Colorado, I mean, Wyoming is gonophilic. And even my own family, I would not mess with people.
Right, well, yeah, you gotta, they should have, I mean, half the comments when you read the story and then people are commenting.
You don't know what's in people's head, and you don't know what's going to trigger somebody, and you don't know.
Yeah, but it's funny, this particular article about it went into this guy's military background and what a hero he was, except for this one little moment when he turned Frosty the snow killer, and all these people are writing in to say, they shouldn't have angered him. It's like, no, he should have locked up his gun and gone back in the house, And he, by the way, after the incident, he ate his gun.
Yeah,
so.
But people have PTSD. I think people don't realize the amount of trauma that people have in war. So I know from the older generations, and I know from somebody who's in his 30s who actually hit the button and shot,
I would love to kill like that.
No, but the impact of it on the person, it's psychologically traumatizing. And if you put someone in that state again, you can't control it. Like, it's like why would you unleash the demon, right? You don't want to...
Yeah, but I don't think they had a lot of snow in Afghanistan.
No, it doesn't matter. It's the triggering of the event, of the trauma.
I guess.
I wouldn't do it.
No, you try not to, but there's road rage, there's I know sometimes when I'm driving home from work and somebody cuts in front or is just weaving out to get 10 feet closer.
But you didn't do it in Colorado because of the guns. You had a lot of crazy drivers, the coal rollers.
What, coal
they
rollers?
Would shoot the black smoke at them,
Yeah, but I never, in Colorado, I had almost no cause in terms, but going down like Merrick Road or Rockaway Avenue and that area, especially that whole strip coming back. I mean, people just to save 3 seconds on the road, because I'm sure they have a longer commute than I do. Just barely signaling, not signaling, zipping in, zipping back out, like I'm going slowly because there's a school bus in front of me. They don't,
New York people are barbaric.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but it's like, do you want to? If I got up next to them on the other side of me, do I want to go?
No, they could have a gun. They're
exactly.
Crazy. They're crazy. Poggle.
I should carry a gun. No, I should not carry it. In no way, shape, or form.
Never carry a gun.
Speaking of violence, here's something I wanted to talk about last week. I never got a chance to. So let's open the show officially with our special intro, since it's 9:30 already, and we've got our guests coming up. We've got Inside Broadway, Grizzly Crimes and Old Times, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Oh boy, it's Dave's Gone By.
Good morning. There goes the neighborhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
Yeah, David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island Hearts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
That would be me, Dave Lefkowitz, here on this Saturday, February 6, 2021, with the 784th episode of Dave's Gone By. We're calling it Wild About Harry, because Harry Hawn will be our guest in the neighborhood, talking theater, talking his life, Broadway, all the celebrities that he has interviewed over the years. Everybody from Gregory Peck and Tony Perkins and Betty Davis, and just you name it, he has probably interviewed it.
This pen doesn't write anymore.
There's
I'll get it, I know.
So
I was somehow able to invite people, and now I got, Abby and Jeremy came in. And
welcome Abby and Jeremy.
But then I lost, I'm having trouble.
It's Facebook. It does what it does. It doesn't always do what it says on the tin, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, me.
So here's the deal. I wanted to also just talk about something, because when you're in the pandemic, as Joyce and I are, and there's no restaurants, and we wouldn't sit in them if we could anyway, because it's a pandemic, so there's not much to do. We watch a lot of TV, a lot of Netflix, and sometimes we just go through people's Facebook clips and their postings and the cute videos that they put on there. So there's this new thing, and you can't resist them. They're animal-related clips. If it involves dachshunds, Joyce and I, we're going to watch dachshund video clips. We're just going to do it, in honor of our beloved late Murray and Oofty Gooft. It's just, dachshund, eventually we'll get more. Yeah.
FM. Oh, no, we're gonna.
Furry Murray and OG.
Listen, as soon as we get our own place again, like normal folk, guess what we're getting?
We're getting at least a dog, yeah. So
we're getting several thousand.
We're not getting well, several hundred maybe. So we watch these, and we watch sometimes these other animal videos that are posted, and they're heartwarming. These are the ones where they're either really cute or something really tugs the heartstrings, and so the animal was in trouble and it was saved. But this is the difference between Joyce and me. So there's this Facebook video of a horse, a big, beautiful horse,
Cute.
and it's in the middle of God knows
It was fluffy.
Keokuk or
It was fluffy.
Iowa, Idaho. It was not fluffy. It was muddy.
It was fluffy under the mud.
It was stuck in cold weather in this kind of frozen, icy mud. And it was just kind of saying its whole back end was in this field, and, its ass, its legs, under the thing. And then the other half of the horse was still on fairly dry land, but it could never pull itself out. Now it was exhausted. And basically the horse sort of knew, okay, I'm going to die here. There's nothing I can do. It's just, this is the end. I'm going to just have half of me here, half of me submerged. I can't move. I tried. I'm exhausted. It's over. So they find the horse in this field. I sure hope this wasn't all faked. That would be horrible.
No, you can't wedge somebody in the mud that
No, but there's always someone with a camera. Yeah? But so they find the horse. These farmers, these real kind of rurally do it. These people wouldn't mind shoveling 3 times a week. This is what they do. And it's a snowstorm. Let's get out there and shovel. That these kind of men and women, by the way, not just men. So they see the horse and well, what the heck do we do? How do we? And there's always, in these towns, in these kinds of rural places, there's always a guy. And there's always this guy who's got what you need. If your car is stalled and need a particular battery, he may not have that battery, but he'll have the circuits and the special wires that will turn a regular battery into the kind of battery you need to get the car going. He's just one of those guys who's got the stuff in his barn, right? And he does. So there's 3 or 4 people, and they get out with ropes, and they get a harness, and they get one end around the horse and one end around the truck, And very carefully, obviously, they start driving the truck, and they get the horse, they're pulling, and they're from his side end and back end. And, of course, this is a video. This is something they're posting on Facebook. So do you think it had a happy ending? Sure, it had a happy. No, and so they pull and pull, and the horse comes up, and they were absolutely amazed because when he finally gets out of his sinkhole that he's been in for God knows how long, he's not lame. He was actually able to stand up on all four legs and kind of take a little bit of a skittery walk here and there. And then he starts, walking off like a horse would. And then, of course, because this is a video, and then it's just one of these magic moments, the horse looks back, right? So, the horse looked back, he was saying thank you. His horse can't actually say thank you, but this is the horse going, thank you so much for saving my life. And the horse goes down the path, and we're crying.
No, I was afraid because the problem is if the horse's leg is broken, they have to kill it.
Well, yeah.
So I thought if his leg got broken or her leg got broken, they would have to kill him.
No, but he had to go find some food. Oh, that was the thing. They kept him calm. The horse was great.
Yeah.
They kept feeding him hay.
David,
what?
That's what I did with Oofty on the plane, those little crackers.
Yeah. Well, we had to bring our dog on the plane from New York to Colorado.
No, l'autre.
Oh, that was Colorado back to New York. One of the ways, we sedated him a bit, but when he started to wake up, Joyce was like surreptitiously feeding him like doggy crackers under the seat. I was like, don't bark, just don't bark. Okay. And then, we brought like a whole pack of these crackers, and she fed him like the whole pack just to keep him quiet. But it was great. It was fabulous. So the horse, which you would figure, here are these humans, because this was not somebody's pet. This was like a show horse or kept in someone's. It was a wild horse, and they did drag him away. And they was not afraid of humans, or maybe was just so tired. It was like, okay, whatever you got to do. But while they were wrapping ropes around him and trying to do this, and it was fine. And they gave him hay. He was eating the hay, so he still had enough energy and enough desire to live that it was taking some level of nutrition, whatever hay gives them. So they.
After that, I think he went to Starbucks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, macchiato, I think. So he goes off, and we're Joyce and I are a little weepy, and then I start laughing hysterically because this is the difference between Joyce and me. She's like, "Oh, wasn't that sweet?" And I said, "What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?" And I couldn't even tell her, A, because I knew she'd get mad.
What are you laughing
and B, also, I was laughing so hard that if I started to try and say it, and she wouldn't understand me because I was just like in stitches. And I'm thinking, they went through all this trouble because the horse had his back legs stuck in mud. And then the harness and the truck, it might not have worked. The horse might have been lame. Don't need all of that. All you actually need, it's getting me again, I hope it gets you. All you need in that situation is one guy with a chainsaw and a firecracker. So basically, you cut the legs off, you put the firecracker in his ass, and boom, the horse goes. If you watch the video, see, I'm telling you, it's probably not that funny, but if you actually watch the video and then think of that, it's the funniest thing in the world, because you just get, and then, and then an even worse thing occurred to me, that if the firecracker's big enough, you don't need the chainsaw. Oh. And this is why men are different from women. This is why Joyce is Joyce, and I'm Dave. Dave Lefkowitz, host and producer of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of The Stream. We're live on this Saturday, February 6th, with our 784th episode. And by the way, if you want to watch all our older episodes, you know where you can find them. They're at the website, davesgoneby.com. D-A-V-E-S, davesgoneby.com. We have our first episode going all the way back to 2002, and almost every single show that we have done since then. Now, the vast majority were audio, because it was a podcast, it was a radio show on terrestrial radio. And then, of course, over the past 3 or 4 years, we've been doing the video. They're all there. davesgoneby.com. We also post our archives at archive.org, which you want to check out. It's a nonprofit organization. I don't get any compensation or anything from them. I just think they're a pretty great site. Archive.org. We put our audio on castbox.fm, just if you want. It's really meant for podcasting. So if you don't need the video and you just want to listen to this show or our 783 other shows, castbox.fm. And then we try and post all our stuff on YouTube as well. So there's a whole bunch of ways and places that you can watch Dave's Gone By. Hooray. So it is about 20 to 10 in the morning Eastern time here in the neighborhood. I do believe this is time to do some, because there's actually literally, there is a siren outside. That is the siren call that it is time to do grilly crimes and old times. La 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 la, biddly boot and bee boo. Yes, grilly crimes and old times here on Dave's Gone By. So as I mentioned early in the program, what that is there's a column or two columns that appear every week in this here newspaper, the Greeley Tribune. This is this is a legitimate, real newspaper with one of the greatest headlines ever. Because worse than an angry neighbor. This is how a tree can kill you. The Greeley Tribune, gotta love them. So, two of their columns are Cop Log, phone calls that come into the police dispatch, and 100 years ago in the newspapers in Greeley. So are you ready, my dear, for some criminality? Oh, I do believe she is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with some crime. A caller at an apartment on 11th Avenue said a neighbor threw a bucket of water on his front door. The man accused of throwing the water denied it. He said the caller had been overflushing a backed-up toilet to flood the apartment below. Shall we unpack this? If you have a backed-up toilet and you want to clear it, or do you specifically flush it to flood the people beneath you, or are you just trying to clear the toilet?
No, you definitely do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I wonder what water was in that pail. I have to wonder about that. But yeah, this is at least that neighbor incident didn't escalate. Although God knows what the other neighbor might have thrown at him. So a caller, this is another story, a caller reported kids playing ding-dong ditch, but they were gone when police arrived. You know what ding-dong, it's ring the doorbell and run. Half hour later, this is 11:30 at night, a caller 3 blocks away reported kids playing ding-dong ditch. The caller had grabbed a weapon, but put it away. It's true, everybody in the pandemic is reaching, it's like, that's when I reach for my revolver. It's like, okay. It's like, everybody, it's kids ringing a doorbell. It does not require your Mauser.
Yes, it does.
Anywho.
I have no idea.
A man called needing help by the jukebox, that's his quote, and he didn't know where he was. An officer tried calling 6 times, but no voicemail was set up, and the caller appeared to be declining the call. I don't know.
That's why he's stuck by the jukebox.
Yeah, that's right. Well, maybe they were playing his favorite song, American Pie, and it just went on for like 12 minutes. And it's like, hello, I'll call him when I get back. We have an old time piece. This is from the newspapers back in 1921. Mrs. A very proud local woman who takes good care of her cosmetics, was at a party with her white hair glowing. Now, she usually has darkened eyebrows, which she tints with a black eyebrow pen. This time, her daughter noticed that her mother's eyebrows were blue. Someone had put a blue pen in her cosmetics drawer.
Whoa, here we go.
Yes. Well, we all know about these blue short-haired old ladies, I guess.
Nay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. She wore blue eyebrows. Whoa, whoa. Anywho, men. This is just for the men here. The Goodman and Neal Clothing Company is having Greeley's Greatest Underwear Sale. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Men's and boys' union underwear suits. Huh?
Used underwear?
No, thank God. No, union.
Oh.
Union underwear suits, whatever that is, can be
I
purchased.
think it's like long johns.
Yeah, for half the usual price. Buy your underwear needs now. Your purchase keeps America employed. There's actually a quote from an advertisement. And by the way, this is post-war. When we first started doing these Greeley Crimes and Old Times segments, America was still in the middle of World War I, right? And all these things. But there's 1920. I don't think there was a problem in terms of keeping underwear makers employed back then. Maybe because so many of you went out and bought your union underwear suits. Good for you.
Nice.
Yeah. We have a new crime. Oh, we have a crime. A caller on 29th Street.
1 second. Where is it?
Reported hearing a clunk outside the caller's home. Here's the deal. A dumpster in the road wasn't there anymore.
Uh-oh.
So it always freaks me out a little bit when dumpsters disappear. Now, maybe we are not that far from Long Beach or Jones Beach. Maybe it went into the water. What, you've never heard of dumpster diving?
Perhaps the company picked it up. The company picked it up.
Well, yes, that's I prefer the explanation of a dumpster, kind of.
Committing suicide?
Well, no, just going for a nice dip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or, as I like to say about trash, for sewer. Get it? Sewer? Sure. Yeah. No? No. Okay. Oh, you know what? And then when it got out of the water, when the dumpster came out of the water and went on to the boardwalk on Long Beach, you know what it did? Recycling. Because they go on their bicycles and they... Yeah. The silence speaks volumes, doesn't it, folks? Okay, let's move on as quickly as possible to another
I'm
crime.
trying to also do I don't know if I invited
Oh,
you.
are they still letting you invite now?
Forgive, I had to go back in and shut me down. I don't know what I'm doing. Just tell people if I direct message them twice, I'm sorry.
Yeah, folks, if you're mildly annoyed by being direct messaged on Facebook by Joyce, who's our back-end coordinator, please put away your gun and just tolerate it. Just click X.
It's going backward. There's some problem with it today. So.
It's Facebook. It's gonna be. A caller.
When you said that, it just froze,
See, the word caller will do it. On 49th Avenue Place, reported a solicitor in a green vest first said he was with Xcel Energy before saying he was with a solar panel company. It's sort of like, isn't that kind of illegal? Even if your company's kind of legit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's bad, honey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of wondering if
At least change your shirt.
yeah, I don't even.
Put on a mustache or something.
Solar company people should have good beards. Somehow it just occurs to me they ought to have beards. I don't know why. Anyway, dear editor of the Greeley Tribune Republican.
Yeah.
This is from 100 years ago. That's what the paper was called back then.
That's
the Tribune.
when it actually had more than 2 columns.
Yeah, and they were on tablets back then. Dear editor of the Greeley Tribune Republican, in a recent editorial, you suggested the business owners in Greeley cut their stock prices to the pre-war level.
Ooh.
Let us suggest you cut your advertising prices by 50%,
Your mama. That's your mama.
which was also a pre-war price. Best regards, Worrell, the hardware man. Oh, you don't mess with them hardware man. Yes, indeed do.
Yeah,
Worrell, the
he sounds
hardware
tough.
man.
What's his name? Worrell or Laurel?
Worrell, W-O-R.
You don't want to mess
R-
with somebody named Worrell.
No, you do
Because all
not.
his life, like me, with the W as a first name, he's been last called. You don't want to mess with them.
Although, there's actually a bigger guy who picked this guy up and just threw him across the street. He had the whole Worrell in his hands. He had the whole big Worrell in his... Thank you. Thank you. I think that's my cue to go outside Greeley for for one story. We do this every week. One odd story that's away from Colorado. We're going to go all the way to Berlin, Germany.
David, I want to see if this
Yeah.
method of inviting people this way increases listenership. That's not
Oh, yeah, we'd love to see that. And by the way, if you get an invite, it would be great if you could say hi and wish us well, or
Somebody
just say
sent us
happy.
flowers and hearts like through the
Yeah.
invite, but I can't see who.
So Joyce is trying to experiment with how to invite people to watch
No, I used
the program.
to do it all the time, but
Yeah.
then Facebook changed the
Right.
modality, and I'm having trouble. It's just kicking back. It's
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you get an invite, it'd be lovely if you tune in, of course, and also just wish us hi and thanks for the invite and that sort of thing. That'd be cool. Anyway, the dateline is Berlin, Germany. A story from the Associated Press. A man has been arrested. Ooh. On allegations he made radio contact with air traffic, including police helicopters. Check this out. He impersonated an aviation official and gave phony flight orders. This cannot work as a fake
well, here, I got
intercom.
something.
I can direct them with my phone, I guess.
Hold on, no, I'll give you here.
Oh, this is yes. Here we go. Breaker 19 to Control Tower 5, and this is what he was doing. He gave phony flight orders and
do
the
that, right? You can't.
no, of course you can.
Illegal. That's illegal.
During a search of his home, police found 2 radios that transmitted on the frequencies needed to make contact with
How do
aircraft.
you make that though?
There's people that ham radio
We
types.
saw it on the fake show we watched called 19.2, where they had fake police people who mocked the police channel and correspond, but you can't.
You shouldn't, but there are people who
it's
figure
illegal.
out how.
But it's illegal.
Yeah, of course
What
it's
happened
illegal.
was that the guy on the show, his mother had worked for the police, so she had access to an old radio. So you
Yeah.
have to have some connection to get it, right?
Well, we know of people who work or who volunteer as fire folks, and they're tuned in. They can hear if a police call, a fire call, a thing like that. They're tuned in. So anybody, I guess, in that family, if they wanted to, and they could figure out the wiring, could do it.
Yeah, that's a problem.
He said, "Well, check it out. This guy's been doing this for 6 months."
How
Becoming-
can they not find him?
Well, I guess they can backtrace now. Everything's GPSed. He became increasingly professional with his communications. In fact, thank God, no accidents were caused by his actions. But, sheeps.
Yeah, but don't you normally have a code? So, like, if you're an air traffic, I guess you don't know. If you come into new airspace, you don't know the name of the person, but you should have a code.
I guess, but every single time you're not going to say
you
this is
just say,
from.
like, you say like, whatever the numbers are, or you say, like, they used to have a thing. Who was it? Was it informants or police? Something was the color of the day. So if they didn't know if you were, like, you said, I'm undercover, and they say, okay, what's the color or what's the whatever, you have to give the right thing, and if you can't, then they're like, oh, you're fake. I mean, there has to be some way of.
That's a good idea. Whether it's actually true, I don't know. But it's actually ought to be.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't do it in Germany. I don't.
I hope they do.
Yeah, right. Well, they are now. They certainly will. So they caught the guy, but
It must be federal for them because it's a big. Airlines are right there.
yeah.
But it's also other planes that come in from other places. So is it a crime across the world, right?
Well, I'll bet the reason they caught him
Yeah.
is he landed a plane in a handicap spot, and you just can't do that.
You
It's
know
just
what?
not
I
nice.
think he encouraged the flight attendants to give out free food. That was like.
Oh no!
They knew.
Oh my God! And
Everybody
a
gets a
pillow.
free upgrade. Whoa!
It's like they got halfway through the plane, ran out of pillows, and the complaint.
No, everybody gets free movies.
Oh no! God.
Anarchy.
Mm.
You don't watch your plane porn. Woo!
God. Let's finish up with really crimes and old times here. Maybe one or two more. Let's find a cute one. Oh yeah. From old times here. Here's a kitchen cleaning tip.
Oh God.
To remove grease from wallpaper, use a gasoline-soaked cloth and soak the wallpaper for several minutes.
Isn't that called a Capowitz?
And by the way, then relax by lighting up a Lucky Strike. Would you soak your wallpaper?
What time is Harry Hahn on?
10:15.
Oh, okay.
Would you soak anything in your house, especially something maybe in the kitchen,
No.
with gasoline?
Gasoline's bad. What time does he
I mean,
do
people
this?
paint with benzene and
David Critic?
10:15.
Critic?
No, writer journalist.
Okay.
Harry Hahn will be with us shortly. Let's do one more. Let's do one more crime. Speaking of like the National Guard and the guy before who was in the Navy, here's someone in the Air National Guard. A caller reported a friend of a friend in the Air National Guard stationed near Washington, D.C., posted online that the inauguration wasn't going to happen. The caller was advised to contact the FBI's Denver field office and the Air National Guard base. So they're out there, folks. They're still out there. And I'll do this one too, because this one goes back to Inauguration Day. A caller reported 70, this is so Greeley, Colorado.
It does, see?
I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah.
A caller on Inauguration Day. Now remember, this is not...
Oh, you got a thumbs up. You get a thumbs up.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for the thumbs up, folks.
Harry Hamlin.
Harry Hamlin. Harry Hahn.
I know, I'm tired.
On Inauguration Day, a caller reported 75 to 100 vehicles revving engines in a parking lot on 65th Avenue. The people in the parking lot were drinking and flying flags. Excuse me. You get the feeling that they weren't pro-Biden? Get the feeling that these folks in Colorado in their trucks, drinking, flying flags, honking, and massing in a parking lot were not exactly fans of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I have to wonder about that. Anyway, that's Greeley Crimes and Old Times with me, Dave Lefkowitz, on this program, Dave's Gone By.
Mr. Harris Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Oh! Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is our old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. I apologize for the condition of my talus. That's better. Oh, I need the coverage. It's cold. It feels so good on my body. Oh, silky smooth. Oh, thank you. This is my dear wife, Miriam Libby, who is helping. And Miriam, 18 of our 21 and a half children are crying. You need to tend to them very carefully. And
Please don't spit.
I'm drooling, I'm spitting. This is what I do. Oh, look at me. Look at this. Oh, it's like I'm wearing an Indian carpet now. What the hell are you doing there? Oh, do this right. Shalom, everybody. I'm here not with a rabbinical reflection. I am taking over this little portion of the Dave's Gone By program from the host Dave Lefkowitz to do a segment that I haven't done in quite a while, but I am looking forward to. You see, I am a person of the book. My people are people of the book. In fact, some of the people I know are bookmakers, but damn it. I love to read. I love to read the Torah. I love to read newspapers. I love to read all sorts of things. And even though my shul is in Great Neck, New York, sometimes I visit what they call the 5 towns. And you can tell it's the 5 towns filled with Jewish people because half of them are getting COVID now. Here's the deal. I like reading the Jewish newspaper, 2 of them, in the 5 towns. One is called the Jewish something or other, the Jewish Home. And then there's another called the Jewish something or else other, not the Jewish Home, Jewish House. Jewish something. I don't know. We'll get to it. Anywho, I get these news. The Jewish Connection. Oh, sounds like a dating site, but it's not. It's a local newspaper specifically for the Orthodox-ish, Jewish-ish community. And so I like to go and share some things with you that I find in the paper. For example, look at this. A special supplement, a circular, if you will, except it's rectangular, kashrus current. Everything you need to know about being kosher, and so much more. Too much more. There's a story here, look at this, about navigating the pizza paradox. I swear to you people, this is about 5,000 words long, all about deciding which bracha to say over pizza. Because, you see, is it a meal or is it a snack? Because if it's a meal, it gets one prayer. If it's a snack, it gets another. And this is why not only is it front page news above the fold, but it's page here, it's this page, and it's more pages than this. Check. Let's determine the criteria. What defines pas haba'ah b'shishim? Interestingly, halacha, which is kind of the oral way that you pardon the expression of the word oral, of how our laws come down, provides 4 approaches, not 1, not 2, not 5, but 4 approaches to define pas haba'ah b'kisnim. The Tor, the Rosh, Aruch, and the Rashba, all 4 of them say that pas haba'ah b'kisnim is a bread product that is filled with honey, nuts, gesundheit, sweets, and spices. Rambam, beloved Rambam, and Beis Yosef maintain that the dough itself is distinctively sweet or fruity. The dough should taste markedly cake-like rather than bread-like, which pushes, of course, pizza into the food category rather than the snack category. The Bach, however, expands on the position of the Rambam Beis Yosef tale that eggs, honey, and other sweet or spicy ingredients should not only make the dough sweet or spicy, but should be a major component of the recipe, goddammit. However, Rav Chai Gaon's approach is that the bread dough is baked into a crisp, hard cracker, flatbread, sticks, and pretzels. Again, this is the snack. All 4 opinions say that is the criteria for snacking. However, and this goes on, look at this. Here we go. Bagel chips. There's a whole section of this story on bagel chips. One of the most elusive pas haba'ah b'kisnin bakery products is the bagel chip. They can theoretically be made in many fashions. Baked, toasted. Understand, rabbis are sitting there for hours debating this shit, right? Fried, manufactured commercially, or made locally on a small scale and sold by bakeries in clear poly bags. Commercially produced bagel chips, it goes on, according to a bagel chip, to the bagel chip companies that were researched, do not take fresh bagels and slice and toast them in bagel chips. In order to get a uniform bagel chip product commercially, they have strict quality control criteria of size, thickness, and texture. Sounds like my moil deciding what I had there. Anywho, to this end, commercial bagel chips are made from long lobes of bagel dough that are extruded and then cut into uniformly sized chips, baked and toasted. They are manufactured, therefore, as snack food. So the bracha would be mezanos. This goes on and on. This is what it means to be Jewish, my friends. Let's look at some other articles and things that are in the paper. You know, these are parlous times. These are difficult times for all of us. But you know what? That's why we all need an evening of celebration, my friends. Oh, yes. Look, a happy little child, the only socially distanced one among all of them. And he is cute. And there's your pre-program inspiration. You got these guys taking part. And, oh boy, you don't want to miss the one, the only, Levi Minzer. And he's got a Talmud we will never forget. Oh, the unforgettable Levi Minzer, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Talmidim. You want to be there. We've already missed it. This is from a couple of weeks ago, but I thought I would share with you. Now, this always gives Jewish people pause, because this is never a word that the Jewish people really want to, either we have it or our ancestors got it. There it is. Gas. Thank God this is not a German newspaper, or we run very, very far away from this. They have gas. Isn't that marvelous? Ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, if you have gas, you're probably going to look like this kid. There he is. He is not celebrating. I think he's deciding whether he's going to be a trans or just a regular boy or girl. The home when there's no home, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes. Delightful stuff. Together, this is beautiful because, tzedakah is a very important thing for Jewish people and doing good things for others. But I wonder about this. Together, we can feed our hungry neighbors with dignity. No, feed them with soup! What are you, morons? Can I give them for dignity? Doesn't put anything in your belly. It doesn't give you nutrition. Feed them first with sandwiches, then worry about dignity. If I'm starving and there's half a bagel in the garbage can, like on Seinfeld, I'm going to eat it. Dignity comes later. James. Anywho, let us move also, because of the pandemic. And everybody says, oh, the Haredi, the Orthodox Jews, they don't obey, they're not wearing masks, they gather for the things. But look what they did during the Jewish holidays this past year. Or more importantly, look what they did not do. To our community members, we hope this finds everyone in the best of health. For the past 37 years, Sias Yitzchak has provided our parent body and the community at large with the option of doing kaporos with live chickens. It has been a zechus for us and a wonderful event for families. This year, due to the spread of COVID in our community, we're canceling the event. We're not comfortable assuming the responsibility of making it safe, and therefore, this is the ad they put out. Look, no chickens. It is a 25. This is like, you want to talk about celebration. There's roosters and chickens dancing for joy in yards and in farms, going, oh, no kaporos this year. Because this is what they do. We take the chicken, we swing it over our heads, then we kill it, and we eat the thing. So it's like, no chickens this year. Now it will be a cock-free holiday. Not even going there. All right. And then, coming soon to a life near you, the vaccine! It's Motzei Shabbos, the vaccine, a live stream. So I think you can put your arm right up against the computer screen and get the shot, the vaccine, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, boy. Are you a Rosh Hashanah Jew? Are you? Or, and this may be the most Jewish question ever in the history of Judaism. Talk about celebrating the holidays. Should we feel terrible on Yom Kippur? The answer, of course, is yes. We're Jewish. We should feel terrible every single day. And if you had my prostate, you would. Should we feel terrible on Yom Kippur? Oh, and speaking of which, I imagine they lowered their prices because there's 2,500 more of these things available now. Famous Chickies specialties, including everybody's favorite kumbaslau sauce.
Oh, God. What is that, Rabbi?
I do not know what kumbaslau sauce is. Good King Kumbaslau went down on the... No, that's too goyish. And they've also got hot popper sauce, sweet spicy something, garlic mayo, and Cajun mayo.
Is this for a restaurant?
This is a fast food restaurant called Famous Chickies with a chicken that is obviously, you can see it's a Monsanto chicken on steroids. Look at the arm and the thumb on that thing. Oh my goodness. Chickies chicken. And now we have two important questions that are being asked almost simultaneously in the newspapers. One of them, what's in your latkes? I hope, and I hope it's potatoes, but what? Go back to potato. What's in your latkes? But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, this is from the Jewish Connection newspaper. I think we have to ask ourselves, what's in your lotion?
What do you mean, what's in your lotion?
What's in your lotion? Ask Dr. P. And in this particular case, it's adorable avocado. I hope that is the only thing in her lotion. Well, and now, there's just something wrong. I don't know. There's something wrong with every single aspect of this. It's Marshmallow, the comic book series, with a filthy old man sitting on a bench surrounded by young children. Cute young girls. I mean, lesbians for sure, but still, cute young girls here. The nerdy boy, he's going to be the first victim. This one's going to tell the cops. This one, I don't know what's going on. He's going to be on the team and molesting in the locker room. This is Marshmallow, my friends, for the best Hanukkah gift ever, spoken by a young cigarette. I don't even know what the hell that is. And then, oh, folks, remember always to relive the majesty. It's a replay of whatever this was. Yes, it's a rock concert. And you can tell already that it's kind of like the Beatles when they were fighting, or the Monkees when they were breaking up with the Beach Boys. It's like these three guys are still kind of into it, and he's working on the solo album. It's just that's what's happening right there. And this actually, no joke at all, no comedy. This makes me quite happy. This would have been unthinkable 5, 25, 60 years ago. But in the Jewish newspaper is an ad for this. Look at this. Tours of United Arab Emirates. Say what you will about former President Trump. Say what you will about Israel's relationship with its neighbors and the Palestinians, the vaccines, whatever. This is happening. The treaties were signed. The hands were shaken because some of them might have had some weird disease. And now this is an ad in a Jewish newspaper for touring UAE. Just as you started to get ads for going to Egypt in the late 70s and early 80s, thanks to what Jimmy Carter did. So I think, all jokes aside, that's quite wonderful. Do I want to do this? What is this? No, I do not want to do this. Do I want to do this? Oh, yes. This guy. In blessed memory, a dead Rabbi, Rav Eliyahu Meir Sorotskin. He passed. A very learned man, kind of a cute guy, who said, and this is a quote, that he said he would even drink a glass of nails if someone would promise him that it could help him understand a tostos better, a piece of Talmud better. Yes. First of all, you can't actually drink nails. You really have to, it's a nice visual image.
He's a husky man, huh?
He is. And I don't know. I think that's going a little far. I would drink a glass of toenails. This I would do, but not actual hard, rusty nails. And remember, as tough as things have been, as difficult as they have been, always remember to smile. There you go. Smile, and the world smiles with you. Except, of course, we can't really tell that you're smiling, ladies and gentlemen. So we have some more of these, but I'm going to hold them for next time, except to say that I wish you a very happy week. We've got Valentine's Day coming up, so if there is a special girl or guy in your life, or something in between, by all means, respect them, love them, give them something nice, and treat yourself nice too. These are weird, until we all get the vaccine in our arms and then we get all the side effects. It's still difficult times. Let's hold strong. Let's be nice to each other. And when things are tough, don't go out and shoot your neighbor over snow shoveling. Not a good idea under any circumstances. Just if you're having one of those days, just remember there's always Shalom. There's Shalom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rabbi Sal Solomon. Coming up, Dave is going to be talking to journalist Harry Horn. Shalom uvracha from every one of me to every one of you. Oh yeah, bouncy way to start the show live on this Saturday morning, February already, 6th of 2021. We've got so much more of the show to do for you. We've got our Colorado Limerick Inside Broadway and our Today Yesterday quiz. But before all that, we're very excited to have a guest in the neighborhood, a man that I've known for, oh my gosh, probably 30 odd years, some of them odder than others. Ladies and gentlemen, live from New York, it's entertainment journalist. Let's check your audio and your video. Your video's working great. Hello, Harry.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can indeed. We are talking with Harry Horn and the arm of his husband, who's behind in the kitchen there. So wave, husband. We'll see you later. No, he's not. Or I guess he can't hear us. But Harry, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
He's getting coffee from me.
Welcome, Harry. This is Harry Horn. Let me tell you a little bit about my longtime friend. He was Mr. Entertainment at the New York Daily News. And then he became basically the main features writer for Playbill magazine for really a couple of decades. He's also written for the New York Observer and for Broadway World. He's the author of the movie Quote Book, and you can read his current writings at theaterpizzazz.com. Now we see more of your husband. Basically, it's kind of a split personality there. He'll be playing the Today Yesterday quiz with us later on. That's Charles.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Charles. You have to put your foot on camera. It's a Jewish word.
Oh, yeah. But let's see his. Well, we'll see his program. He'll be part of. You'll move over a little bit later when we play the game. But the interview part is with Harry Horn, entertainment writer and journalist. How are you, Harry?
Fine. I'm very fine.
That's great. So, do you live in New York? Are you in Manhattan?
Yes, Manhattan Plaza, as a matter of fact.
Oh my God. Are there any apartments there ever available? Ever?
Yes, we're kind of an elephant graveyard, as it were. So there is a turnover.
Oh, because if you could let me know when there's a turnover, because that's Manhattan Plaza is this golden shining beacon for actors and directors who make money in the field and live in New York.
It's the only existing twin towers now in New York.
Ooh, well, and it's right, like it's 8th Avenue or 9th Avenue over on 42nd.
8th and 9th.
8th and 9th, yeah. It's an amazing location.
Yeah.
I remember the.
I'm sorry, it's 9th and 10th.
Oh, 9th and 10th. But I remember Ernie Shear, who was part of the National Critics Institute at the O'Neill. He lived in that building. Just all these actor folks are lucky enough to be there.
I can get items just riding the elevator.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever ridden with some well-known person and then you had a blurb for your column, a paragraph?
Yeah, that's happened. Dylan Baker lives here, and Becky Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Wife. I've done stories on both of them.
Dylan Baker is an actor. If you don't know the name, folks, you see the faces. Oh, I know who that is. And Becky Ann Baker is his wife, and I'm sure there are other pretty well-known or certainly journey person actor types who live there.
Tennessee Williams used to live on our floor, and Angela Lansbury also lived here when she was just on Broadway before she went out for Murder, She Wrote.
Right.
And, there have been a lot of people. Jane Alexander lived here.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when then they go to Hollywood, they make millions of dollars and they can live where they want. But for an actor who makes a limited amount of money and who wants to be right in the heart of the Broadway district, Manhattan Plaza, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's just this. So Harry, if one of your neighbors dies, call me that second.
I'm all right. Yeah. Okay.
Or better yet, if I give you a little extra money, if you could kill one of your neighbors for me,
I'll do what I can.
Please, that'd be great. So let me. By the way, you have a great visual behind you. That is not a fake backdrop. This is your nook with books and books. That painting, or is it it's not a Hirschfeld. What is that behind you? Are you in it? It is Hirschfeld, yeah.
There's Betty Davis. We see Rex Reed. Janney.
Oh my goodness. So is that an actual, did you get from Margot Fiden Gallery? Is that an official signed Hirschfeld, or is that just a print or something?
I knew Louise Hirschfeld, and I remember riding in a taxi one time, and I said, uh, "Would I've interviewed Al several times, and I said, would Al consider doing a a drawing of me?" And she said, "Sure, sure." He for friends, he only charges $700, and I said, "I'll get back to you about that."
Oh, I don't know. Which you might be worth it now. You probably should have done it. Oh well.
Sorry, I lost the decimal point. It's 7,000.
So 7,000. Okay.
I'm thinking, but you know, Raymond Wong got a wonderful character.
Raymond, one of the Daily News. He's a Daily News, also an entertainment writer. Well, I have two drawings of me by Sam Norkin. I don't know if you remember Sam. He used to
I
go
do
to,
remember Sam. I
yeah.
remember Sam fondly.
He was a cartoonist. He would do drawings for Stages magazine, and he would be at all the Drama Desk. It was either Drama Desk or Ivy Critic Circle, and
He got the Drama Desk Award.
it was Drama Desk. Okay.
Yeah.
He would sit there while everybody else was partying and eating and talking. He would just set himself up and draw all of us. And, it took like 10 minutes with each of us. It was wonderful of him. And I have the caricature right here, right by this desk. Anyway, this is not about me. This is about you, Harry Hawn. So let me ask you just the most memorable interviews that you have done in your thousands and thousands of interviews. Like any anecdotes, any great stories?
Oh, I have a lot of great stories. I have, I had wonderful interviews with Christopher Plummer, who just passed away. And in fact, I have one of my last interview with him is on Facebook right now. He did a show, a one-man show called About Words, and it was just him on the stage. And I remember how erect and wonderful posture the man had, and he was like 82 or 3, and you feel it when you're that age. And he was wonderfully agile, and I would remember marveling at that. We had some really nice interviews. When he was doing the Scottish play
Mm-hmm.
with Linda Jackson, he was in the wings in the dark, and a spear carrier ran right into him and broke his tooth right in front. But he went on. He kept going on with the show, and he said everything was fine except for words beginning with F.
Oh
It's
man.
very wonderfully funny. He did a play called he got a Tony for Barrymore, John Barrymore, and he had early in his career he had an association with Diana Barrymore that hasn't gotten any press, but they were very close. She was a little pretty far gone into booze by that time.
Well, so is he. Did you read that article by Michael Regal in the Post about him doing Sound of Music? And he was basically in his cups through the whole movie.
Oh yeah, right. He mellowed on that. I noticed a lot of interviews where he said it wasn't. It was a good film, but it wasn't my favorite. That's the strongest criticism he had. But he called it The Sound of Mucus, and I wonder if he really is twirling in his grave about everybody remembering him for The Sound of Music, and he did so many great performances. He was just absolutely great. He when he was 82 years old, he played a very late blooming gay and got an Academy Award. He's the oldest Oscar-winning actor there is, and he could stop there, but he kept acting, and he became the oldest nominated actor. Like when he was 88, he did a movie called
Was that the one where we replaced Kevin Spacey or something like that?
And he did that 6 days before the film was released.
Wow.
Talk about a fast study, He was wonderful in that, and they nominated for him, and he's also the oldest uh, Oscar-winning actor and the oldest Oscar-nominated actor.
So, and you, of course, got to interview him, but you've interviewed literally thousands of other folks. And what are your other favorite or most memorable interviewees?
Oh, I have very fond memories of interviewing Gregory Peck. I did that several times. I did it one time on location. He did a movie called um, I Walk the Line, and Johnny Cash gave up his song for that. And he played a sheriff, and Tuesday Well was his love interest in it. He was married to Stella Parsons in the film, and he was a compromised lawman. And at the very end of the movie, he drives his pickup truck into a lake and is drowned. That's how the movie originally ended, but they ended it earlier than that, so you don't know that he actually got killed. It's very interesting. You know, he um, he was very polite to my wife. I remember he made sure that she had a place to sit down, and I just thought he was a lovely guy. He had a lot of class. I interviewed him one time. Uh, let's see. He was I saw him one time at the Scarlet Pimpernel,
Mhm.
and it was produced by Pierre. What was his name?
Cazette, Pierre
Yeah,
Cazette. Yeah.
and Pierre also produced the Will Rogers Follies, and Greg did a voiceover of Ziegfeld, and he just came on opening night to glitter up the evening, and I saw him behind me, and I said, "Can you believe they're making a musical of the Scarlet Pimpernel?" I said, "What if they made a musical of Duel and Son?" He said, "I think we did." It was a little overripe. That's his way of saying it was overripe.
No, let's get to some of the personal stuff because people might be a little confused. We just saw momentarily your husband Charles, and Charles will be joining you for the Today Yesterday quiz. But you also mentioned your wife. So you were married like more than once,
Oh yes,
and to lady type people. So
already.
when did you
It's a very
realize that
checkered
was you?
past.
Huh?
It's a very checkered past,
Really?
and I enjoyed every one of my relationships, and I'm great friends with all of my wives. all of my all of my exes live in Texas almost.
So was it the kind of thing that in the I don't know the 60s, 70s, 80s you didn't admit to yourself who you were, or you were different back then, or or did you know you were bisexual at one point, or now you are gay, or you're still where are you on the spectrum?
Well, I mean, I always was gay, but I had trouble admitting it. Most people don't want to admit it. I was practicing straight for 56 years,
Wow.
and like Christopher Plummer in that movie. I wasn't 75 like his character was, but I did get a little break on that.
What
Uh,
was it that allowed you to admit to you not to yourself and then to the world, hey, I'm not what I've been for 50 something years?
uh, I think a Sondheim lyric. He wrote a song. It was the last song he wrote, and for Passion. And he said, the lyric is, "Loving you is not a choice; it's who I am." And something that made it so simple, that when they start rhyming these things, I catch on.
So let me ask, when did you realize, typical question, that you were a writer?
Oh, when I was about 11 years old, and in this little town, I'm from Greenville, Texas, uh, at the Wesley Methodist Church, they had no, it was Kavanaugh Methodist Church. They had Saturday morning matinees, and they showed serials. I remember seeing all of Buster Crabbe's Flash Gordon's and Ming the Magnificent, all of that. And I would go home and I would write up every event that happened in that serial, and then I'd go back and see another one, and then I'd write it up. That's how I started. I just started like that.
Were
And
did you synopsize them only, or were you already were you trying to be critical of them? Did you say, I love this one, or this was, yeah.
it was a synopsis. It was just
Oh,
like that.
yeah. Oh, pardon.
And excuse me, I had I, I started reading criticisms, and that's when I realized there was another dimension there. I saw the Yearling. I remember the Yearling. I remember Green Dolphin Street. When I remember the Window, they were that was Bobby Driscoll. Got an Oscar. He was a kid, imaginative kid who saw a murder.
But
And
it's one thing to be an 11-year-old writing these things. How did that get you to one of the major New York daily newspapers?
well, I started at the Nashville Tennessean,
Mhm.
and I was on the copy desk, and I was the only guy that knew how to spell John McIntyre. And they said, "Well, I think we could use him in our Sunday department," you know. And the Sunday department had a magazine called Showcase, and I infiltrated that, and I became there. They didn't have a movie critic,
Oh.
and I started writing criticism.
So I still think of you because from when I knew you, you were already a theater journalist, like celebrity interview kind of thing. I never knew that whole movie criticism backstory. That's kind of
Oh,
yeah.
I did movie criticism at the Daily News also. You know, I did for Kathleen Carroll. I was her uh, her beat guy. You know, I was her assistant. And
Now here's a question though. If most people would just kill if you're a person like me for that job. Like, oh my God, I'm the movie critic for the New York Daily News, or even the second string movie critic for the New York Daily News. Why didn't you stay with that? How did that evolve into even more stuff to do?
well, I'm a great believer in what you want will lead you. I don't see the rhyme or reason for any of this, but it was a clear, direct path. I think of my life as a direct line. You know, from what you want will lead you. I wanted this. This is more than I wanted anything else, and I that's I couldn't believe when I started at the Daily News as the entertainment editor that they came to me and said, "You want opening night tickets?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I could use that." And I I saw so many opening nights. I saw about 40 years of opening nights. You know,
Wow.
it was
What was the most memorable opening night that you went to a theater?
well, actually, it wasn't an opening night. It was
A preview, maybe.
when a chorus line became the greatest show on Broadway,
Yeah.
longest running show, and they had an event, and they refortified the stage and had countries that have a chorus line come in and do the do the dance. It was absolutely wonderful. I remember. I remember seeing Chorus Line for the first time, and I wanted to really enjoy it. So I had a joint. Okay, I did that in there,
Wow.
and and then
Uh,
I sat down, and I thought, hey, this has begun. You know, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, and it was playing about 2 minutes. I said, this show has begun.
Now, were you seeing it at the public, or was this already when it was on Broadway when you first saw it?
It was on Broadway.
It was on Broadway at that point.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Harry some other favorite interviewees. Some great anecdotes, funny anecdotes of literally, I mean, so many luminaries.
I interviewed Ingrid Bergman and Anthony Quinn when they did a movie in Tennessee. This is when I was the entertainment editor of the Tennessean, and I've always adored Ingrid Bergman. She's just about my favorite, and I remember uh, I remember the way she said the Smoky Mountains. I always thought that was so sweet. I used that in her obituary when I had to write. I did a 3-part obituary about her, and I mentioned that before she died. I did an item when I was doing Liz Smith. I replaced Liz Smith when she went on vacation. Oh, that's the greatest job in the world. That's the ultimate, you know. And I remember said Elizabeth Taylor, Ingrid Bergman is gravely ill in London, and that nobody had mentioned that. I knew it kind of in a secret way, and she got up out of her bed and went across the street to a park and posed for photographs to kind of refute that. I just felt awful about that, you know, um, that she would do that because of that. But sure enough, and she died. She died on her birthday, and that was about 2 months later.
Well, the nature of theater journalism and entertainment gossip has really kind of shifted from when, like Earl Wilson or you or Ward Morehouse and Ward Morehouse III were doing it, to sort of Michael Regal came in and shifted it to being about the dynamics and the money and getting secret stories of bad behavior backstage, as opposed to saying, hey, this show is coming up and here's a quick quote from the producer and here's what the stars say about it. I mean, do you think that's been good or bad?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I mean, people read Regal, and I think he's done a wonderful job. He, people read him because he gives them information, and he does it, and he wants to be liked. Poor boy, he's not liked. You know, it makes them angry at what he does, but they read him. That's the
Yeah.
important thing, and I think he won that. He's been doing it like 23 or 4 years. He's 54 years old. I think his mother brought him to the audition. You know, he started right out. You know, and he did. He's always been
Well, let me ask
wonderful.
what you're doing. So you currently still write. I mean, you're not retired. You write for
Yeah.
theaterpizzazz.com. So what do you do for them? What can people read you there, especially now in a pandemic? What you're writing about?
I'm writing a book actually,
Oh,
and so I'm letting all the releases. People say it's going to be released. This movie is going to be released. I don't see them, you know, and I have to see it in a theater, and they won't open the theater, so I just kind of ignore it. I make notes of things I want to see. I want to see Ma Rainey
it's
uh,
very good. Yeah.
and the Spike Lee movie, but I haven't really knocked myself out. I've been watching a lot of uh, TV miniseries. Uh, I've been doing that,
But what
and
have you been writing about for Theater Pizzazz? What are your columns about there?
they're a mixture of theater and film, the both worlds,
Yeah.
and that's essentially what I do.
So you're previewing, you're interviewing. I mean, what?
Uh, I have interviewed a few people for Theater Pizzazz, but mostly it's just informational thing that crossed my desk. And this is I mean, it was 11 months ago when I did that. You know, I
Right.
have been on March 10th. I just started writing this book, and I've been doing that constantly. I've gotten a few assignments, and I will do it. You know Jeffrey Richards.
Sure.
He- I've been doing some stories for him. Yes.
Well, he's a press agent and now a producer. So what are you doing for him?
I'm doing something on the minutes. I did an interview with Anna D. Shapiro.
Right.
I do it just like it's a story, you know.
We should mention that The Minutes is a play that was going to open in March on Broadway. It's a Tracy Letts play. And then, of course, it's waiting. And when Broadway opens up again, it should open, I guess, sometime in fall of
It's going
21.
to be, I think March. It's going to be 2 years and 2 days
Wow, 2 years. Amazing. Yeah.
Next March. Next March is when it's going to open.
That's actually a scoop. I did not know. I thought it was going to open in the fall, like with everything else trying to. We'll see. But now you're saying it'll be March
It's going to
2022.
be a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Wow. Let me ask you, what do you predict for the theater in New York in like 2022 and 3? I mean, do you see it getting normalized with everybody getting shots and
oh, I hope so. I mean, I hope that herd immunity sets in and we can go with a good conscience to the theater, you know. Right now, I'm just afraid to get out. I just,
Hmm.
uh,
would you go like in the fall, in October, November of this year? If you wore a mask,
yeah.
would you sit in the Helen Hayes? Would you sit in the Lunfontaine and watch a show?
Well, I'm going to have a lot of medical signals about that before I decide to do something. If Fauci says I can do it, I will do it.
All right. Have you gotten the vaccine? Are you lined up for it? Are you?
I get my second one tomorrow at Manhattan Plaza. Yes, I know. I
How
feel
did the first one? Did you feel anything? Was there any side effects? Anything, or just
no,
nothing?
absolutely not. You know,
Great.
I thought I would feel something, but because I don't really like needles, but I
Yeah.
didn't even feel that. You know, I think it's called the butterfly needle.
Fine with me.
As
I'd
for the
rather have
butterfly,
a gnat needle, but even a microscopic flea needle, if they have those. So Harry, before we bring in the contestants to play our today, yesterday trivia quiz, and you'll bring Charles in to
Just
play
tell
with
them
you.
they're very raunchy and rowdy.
Well, there's a lot of fun. You know these people. You know Leslie Hoban Blake, and you know David
I met
Stewart.
the lady and I met David.
Yeah, so you know these folks. So it's going to be like old home week for all of us. But we still have a couple of minutes, so I want to hear some more. I mean, tell me about like one of the worst interviews that you ever had to do. Like the celebrity, you're like, oh god.
I think the worst was Anthony Perkins. He did a movie in Nashville. No, it was in Knoxville, and I lived in Nashville, and I went over to see him, and they had a premiere, and it was a very interesting movie. Eddie Albert's son, his Edward Albert, his son was in it, and we had to. I got on a plane to go back to Nashville with Tony, and we agreed that I do the interview then, and
Mhm.
I pick it up uh, regularly with the other people. So I would just sit at the, and I sat with him, and he gave me yes, no answers. And finally, I just got tired and picked up a magazine and started reading it, you know. And when we were picking up our luggage, he came up to me and said, "I hope you got everything you want." I said, "I did, yes." I didn't
What
want
was
to
the,
say.
do you think you would out him, and what do you think was his problem?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, he had a lot of problems. Um, uh, well, there's this story that Charles Strauss told when he was doing Nick and Nora with Arthur Lawrence, and he went over to confer with Arthur Lawrence, and Arthur Lawrence came to the door and was laughing just hysterically. He said, "Anthony Perkins has AIDS," and he was really joying in that, you know, because Anthony was married and uh, he thought he was getting his comeuppance. I thought that was well. It tells you who uh, Arthur Lawrence was. I interviewed Arthur Lawrence, and I got along with him. I didn't, uh, and he was snippy. I hate people that are like they're on top of it and snooty, and they just condescend. You know, you know when that happens. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I mean, for one thing, he speaks his mind or spoke his mind. You knew exactly how he felt, but at the same time, he didn't spare people. He kind of should have been like a little more, for a guy who's a director and a producer and a librettist and a lyricist. I mean, it's kind of like Arthur. You got to work with these people. you know?
Hal Holbrook was
Ah,
originally in The Fool Killer, and it was right after he did the Mark Twain run, and it was going to be his movie debut. and he played an elderly person, and he used the makeup for Mark Twain, and it just photographed like somebody with a young guy with makeup, and they scrapped that performance, and they brought in Henry Hull of oh, you would know him, and he did the role. So Hal Holbrook didn't make his movie debut until uh, it was called the Group, the Mary
Oh,
McCarthy movie. And I enjoyed. I would run into it every once in a while, and I remember he just adored Dixie Carter, his wife, and he insisted that I go see her in master class, and she was really wonderful in that. She didn't get the press that other people did.
well, she didn't open the show. She would have been
Yeah,
like a replacement,
yeah.
so they don't pay as
Zoe,
much attention.
Zoe opened it. I went down to Washington to see that, and she was such a lovely memory for me. I just thought she was a wonderful, wonderful person. She was a great interviewer too. She
Oh,
called
wow.
it she called it make theater. That's what we do. We make theater, instead of act. She
All
made
right.
theater.
Now, speaking of people, someone who made theater and especially movies, we haven't had a chance to ask about, since last week, our guest was a woman named Jessica Schur, who's doing a one-woman show about um, Betty Davis called Betty Davis Ain't for Sissies. So you actually interviewed a couple of times
Oh, I sure
the
did.
Betty Davis. Yeah.
I remember I asked her two questions like said, is it true that you had George Brent as a dartboard in your apartment? And so she throws darts at him. They were actual co-stars and lovers. And
Oh,
she says, I certainly did not, and I know that's to be true. And I got confused with her and Olivia about throwing a typewriter at William Wyler. There was another case of a love-hate relationship. And I asked her if that was true. And she said, no. I said, where do you get these questions? And I said, well, I was just trying to ask you questions that you're not asked usually. And she said, well, try harder.
ooh.
And
All right.
it was a painful interview.
Oh,
And I interviewed her a second time, and Bob Osborne was a friend of hers and mine. And I asked him, I said, please put in a good word and tell her I'm not a bad guy. And he told her secretary that. And she was so nice. She sat in a chair for 45 minutes and answered my questions. And I think she had one cigarette. She says, I think it's a great prop. And well, you certainly would know about cigarettes being a great prop.
that,
And
that neat.
it was absolutely lovely. Well, it's a wonderful career to go over.
Absolutely. Well, it has been a delight going over your career, Harry Hawn, in the theater, and certainly do you know when you're going to be finishing? I don't want to put pressure on you, but when do you think your book will be done?
God, I have no idea. I really don't, because I keep adding to it. I keep finding things. I mean, it's kind of ready now, but I want to keep adding things.
Well, speaking of adding things, we are adding to our visuals right now. Our friend of the neighborhood, someone who's been on the show for many, many years, but now is with us basically every week playing the today yesterday game. It's our great friend, former president of the Drama Desk, also a man who writes for 3 different places at the moment, including his own blog, The David Desk, Cultural Weekly, and TheaterLife.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the neighborhood, of course, David Sheward. Hello,
Good
David.
morning.
Bravo, bravo. Hi,
Good
Dave.
morning, Harry.
David, of course, knows Harry Hawn, who is our guest, and we've been talking about Harry's life and career. Since Leslie, go figure, isn't here yet, David, do you have any questions that you've always wanted to ask
I'm online.
Harry Hawn? Oh, wait.
What? I'm sorry.
Do you have
My
any?
partner came into the room for just a moment, but
Oh, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah,
What was
all
your
those
question?
things just get in the way. So David, do you have? Oh wait, no. Well, talk amongst yourselves because Leslie is here. So we're just gonna bring her in. Hold on, Leslie
Okay.
Blake, also a theater critic, and appears on the weekly show Critics Circle, with everybody's mutual friend, Charlie Gross. She's there. She's appearing. I see a shadow.
I'm sorry. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Leslie. Oh, my God. The gang's all here. Leslie, we're here with
Hey,
David.
Harry. Hi.
How are you,
Of
honey?
course, she knows Harry.
I'm good. How are you? It's so good to see you. I was so excited to know that you were going to be here.
This is it's like
I'm excited to see you guys too, but I was excited especially to see Harry. Cheers, Harry.
Cheers, l'chaim to everybody.
Yes.
This is a mini
Good
meet with
morning.
the drama desk right here. It's fantastic.
I brought a friend.
And that
Oh,
is
delightful.
He's a beanie baby. I have many worthless beanie babies.
Aren't they all worth thousands of dollars?
No. I never paid anything over the price that they were listed at. However, I did think I was investing.
Maybe we should start a Robin Hood app for Beanie Babies.
Yes, please. Just for Beanie Babies.
Game on GameStop at a place near you. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. And by the way, Harry, you're more than welcome to invite Charles to play or not to play.
Okay.
That is a question.
In the wings, he'll be joining.
Oh, fantastic. Yep, I see his coffee cup.
Charles Riley, look at him.
Well, not Charles Nelson. Wait, Charles Riley.
We're matching.
That's my mental joke. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Leslie.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You know, these guys live up the street from me, and I never see them, except maybe in the grocery store once in a while, right?
Now, right? You're
what?
Almost the river, aren't you? 2 Avenue?
I'm at River Place. The only thing keeping me from falling in is the highway.
So, Charles Nelson, by the way, introduce what do you do? What do you do?
Oh, I'm a school teacher who's looking for work right now and waiting to be passed home. Yeah.
I mean, are you waiting for what?
Waiting to get passed soon, because the courses I teach are theater history, all of it. I mean, all of it, the last 1,000 years. And the other thing I do is play script analysis, and that you have to do in a classroom.
So are those high school or college classes?
Oh no, this is college.
Well, I wasn't sure when you said that. It didn't sound like high school. Okay.
I just feel bad because I'm the only one not wearing a checkered shirt of all the men.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a checkered shirt. I'm wearing
your scarf is
I'm actually wearing a black pajama top that I chose to dress up a little bit because I didn't feel like getting that.
Your
scarf is
my scarf and pop the collar. That's if you pop the collar on anything.
Similar colors to Charles and mine.
That's right.
Well, you all look terrific, and it's great to have you in the neighborhood and playing the Today, Yesterday quiz. So let me give
Charles looks like a scholarly lumberjack in that shirt.
But the one lucky thing, Charles, is you said you teach theater history. That's one course that you could essentially teach via Zoom or Google.
You don't want to do it as a lecture, and you do want to bring up parallels to today. You know, if you don't just teach them, it can't be a lecture course. It's now you got to combine the past and the current day. You got to get their interests. And remember, there's a lot they don't know about any kind of history. So you've got to keep it interesting.
It would require lots and lots of pictures and paraphernalia to make it work. I know.
Yeah, according to the class. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I gather pictures for our site when we do a review, and it takes me forever. Unless I get them from a press agent. If I have to go finding pictures myself, it takes a day. It's, you know, I do it because what else am I going to do? I don't have anything else to do with my time, but I understand the problem.
Do you bring the kids up and make them do scenes or something like that? I mean, is it interactive like that?
No. This is simply watch, listen, discuss together. If you're talking history.
But that's Zoomable. That's doable.
Well,
Charlie doesn't feel it is. Leave him alone. Don't argue with the man.
All right, okay. No, because it's something I would want to do if they were hiring teachers. I want to do that too. You know, I'm like, here's Aristophanes. They actually had him on an old camera back.
Yes, right. No, we don't hang anything in classrooms anymore. Nothing.
Look, here's Afra Ben's bra. You know. But anyway, let's get to the game. You're right, Leslie. Why am I picking on the guest?
I have no idea. This is not pick on the guest day.
Well, no, I'm actually
our little bear against the black shirt. That doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Just know he's here and he's watching.
Get the guests.
What have you got today, David?
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Wait, what?
David Stewart, what have you got today to match my
Oh, I
my fair
didn't.
company?
It's in the other room. I don't feel like getting
Never
up.
mind, don't get up. I didn't feel like getting dressed. I
Don't
totally
hector the
understand.
guests, Leslie.
I will. I might get something.
David's not a guest. David is my worthy opponent. To David.
So here's it. We have 3 teams playing the Today Yesterday quiz. All it is, it's a trivia game, and there are 3 contestants playing because Harry and Charles, you're one team, and there are 10 questions. There's actually 9 questions and 1 tiebreaker. What I have to do though is, of course, I get the roll a die going. And I always forget to get that going before the show, but it's ready. I'm going to digitally roll a die, a single-sided die. So what I need to do from you guys before I begin is, Harry and Charles, since you are our new guests in the neighborhood, could you please decide on a number between 1 and 6?
3.
3, okay. And now, I'm sorry, Dave, but ladies first. Leslie, could you choose a number? Uh-oh.
Presuming so much on my account. Yes, I'm going to take 2. It was very lucky for me last week.
Leslie taking the number 2, and I took a number 2 this morning. It felt great. So, David, what? I'm sorry. What?
Guys, we have various sounds that we make when he does one of those. So come up with your own sound.
Did you take or did you give?
I left. I left one. Yes, it was very nice. So, Dave, is there a number? I'm guessing, but what is it?
Oh, I will pick. Okay, so Leslie has 2.
Right.
Harry and Charles have 3.
Right.
I will say 4.
4.
Oh wow, we're in a
David
clump.
going with the number 4.
I've got to breathe. I've got to breathe.
Here we go.
When we were supposed to be socially distancing, I don't know if that's allowed.
Well, we're going to roll this die.
You got a haircut, David Stewart.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Where did you get a haircut?
At the barber's around the corner.
They're actually up. My hair is growing and getting grayer by the minute.
No.
I haven't done anything.
In 10 months, or you haven't?
Not since October. October I had it done. But the woman who does my hair cuts it so beautifully that no matter how long it gets, it still keeps the shape. But it was. Bless your heart. Thank you. It's all gray in the temples.
Yeah,
Not happy.
my pubes are like that. It's horrible. But so I just rolled a 6. I rolled a number 6, which means that that Dave
That's my
is
old number, damn it.
the closest to the die roll. So David, you get to decide. Do you want to go first, second, or third?
I'm going first.
David is going first. Okay, I'm going to roll again. Roll that die. And that came up directly with the number 4. So David again. Let's just roll that one again. Hello. Go. Thank you. Okay, here we go. We came up with the number 1. So 1 is closer to Leslie's 2 than it is to Harry and
I'll go second. I don't like sloppy seconds, but there you are.
Not even.
Go ahead, David. Go ahead. Play with that one. I
No,
dare you.
no, not even gonna.
What does it mean?
Yes.
What this all means is that David Stewart gets the first question, Leslie gets the second question, and Harry and Charles get the third question. And there are 9 questions, so that is the order we're going to go. So
10 questions.
I'm sorry.
There are 10 questions.
Well,
There are 9 questions and a tiebreaker. Yeah. Each question is worth 2 points. If you get it right, you get both points. If you get it wrong, one of the other contestants gets to try and answer it, and we decide who gets to answer it by rolling a die, and they get to steal those points. But if you get a wrong answer, there's no penalty. So there's no penalty in guessing or just making something up if you don't know. Is everybody ready to play?
And at the end of this, Charlie and Harry, all you get is David's puns. That's our prize for the game.
Portrait the winners and the losers equally. It's yeah. Harry, you're gonna say? No. All right, let's begin. Let us begin with our very first question that goes directly to David Stewart.
Okay.
And remember, every one of these questions, the point is that these things all happened on February 6th in history. So whatever year it was today.
Okay.
The year 1778. Okay. 2 countries signed the Treaty of Alliance today. Please name them for 1 point each.
That's it.
That's the whole. It's a shorty. It's a short one to start.
1778, two countries signed a treaty of alliance today.
Yes. Please name them 1 point each.
Huh. Now that's interesting. It could be the United States and Great Britain to sort of be peaceful. John Adams, who was the first ambassador to Great Britain, I believe, negotiated something. So it may be that. Or it could be something totally European and obscure between, like that, the Treaty of Westphalia and whoever those people were. I'll just guess and say the United States and Great Britain.
Is that going to be your final answer?
Yes.
Okay, David Shorten. By the way, wouldn't it be ironic if the Treaty of Westphalia was a success because it should have been Westphalia? I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah, Westphalia.
Westphalia. You got to think about that one.
Yeah,
you are in Australia, I'll never fail you.
Oh, David Sheward, you.
David.
Oh, Mr. David Body.
Mr. Sheward.
You get 1 point.
Ah, okay.
2 points. I'm not going to tell the next contestant who gets to steal half the question which part was right or wrong.
Oh,
but
by the way, those lyrics were by Frank Lesser, so it wasn't my joke.
Oh, well.
It was Frank Lesser.
Did you get permission from Joe Sullivan before you did that?
It was Frank Lesser's joke. Okay.
Yes, I know. Did you get permission from Joe Sullivan before you? Okay.
Well, she was the lesser of two evils, but I don't even. Just kidding. It doesn't even make sense. I'm going to roll the die because that's what I do best.
It's an old boys club. The girl tries, but it just no matter what I do, I'm surrounded. Okay.
And actually, Frank Lesser's wife was referred to as the evil of two lessers.
Was she really? Is that good? Oh, that's funny. I mean, I'm sure she was lovely, but
his first wife.
His first wife, Lynn. Yes.
Yeah. No, we were talking about Joe. Okay.
Yeah, his first wife.
Anywho, I rolled the die and it came up 2, which means Leslie gets the chance to steal the question. Now, Dave got half right, but I'm not going to tell which half. So here's the question.
I know which half. Dave was very close. In fact, I was going to clap for it. It was the new United States, but it was France because of Lafayette. It was France that they signed with first. Great Britain took a little longer. Like a lot longer.
So are you going to say what are the 2 countries, Leslie?
Well, France. David already said United States, so France.
So
is the other country.
Well, guess what? We're pairing number 2 with wee, because that is the correct answer, Leslie Hoban Blake. It was indeed the United States going with France to gang up.
I got to take a drink on that one.
Dear.
Oh, dear. Yes, I know. So it's now a tie game between David and Leslie Hoban Blake, each with a point apiece for grabbing that first question in our yesterday quiz. Now, the second question goes directly to Leslie Hoban Blake because she gets to answer the second question. Leslie, are you ready?
Yes, I think these 2 guys are very confused. I'm really sorry.
Oh, dear.
I get a look of consternation on your faces.
Last week, so
okay.
You know how it works.
Oh, so something on what they're in for. Here we go.
Okay.
The year 1819. Speaking of treaties, Sir Stamford Raffles signed one in Southeast Asia today, establishing a trading post on this island, which would become a British colony and eventually a republic. Name it. No helping. Nothing from the peanut gallery.
Nobody's helping. Why would anybody help?
Nothing from the peanut allergy gallery either. So I'll read it again. The year was 1819 on this date. Speaking of treaties, Sir Stamford Raffles signed one.
And there are no 1, 2, 3. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Southeast Asia today, establishing a trading post on this island, which would become a British colony and eventually a republic.
I'm lost. I keep thinking Siam and Thailand. That's all that will come to me, and I know that's not right. Southeast Asia, not my sphere of influence. I don't know. I can't even think of any place in Southeast Asia. I know. Count me down. I'll just say Republic of. What has become a republic? I have no idea. In Southeast Asia, the Philippines.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I don't even know if the Philippines is in Southeast Asia, but okay.
I don't have any pun to make with that, but it is not. Sorry, Liz, but that is not the correct answer. I'm so sorry. So
Milda Marcos or something.
Right.
Well, the shoe must go on. But here we go. Thank you for giving me that opening. Here we go. We get the number.
How did one do that, right?
Number one. So which is closest to? Well, I gotta do that again. It's closest to Leslie, but it is still second closest to Harry and Charles. So Harry and Charles, you get to steal if you know the answer.
Okay, Hong Kong.
Is that your final answer?
That's the final answer.
Well, I'm afraid King Kong is not going to do well for you in this particular question. That is not the correct answer, Harry and Charles. So, David Seward, you get to try and steal. Do you need me to read the question again?
Yes, please.
The year was 1819. Sir Stamford Raffles signed a treaty in Southeast Asia today, establishing a trading post on this island, which would become a British colony and eventually a republic.
Is it Ceylon, which later became Sri Lanka? No, that's not Southeast Asia. Or is it? Is Ceylon in Southeast Asia? I don't know. Or is it? No, it would be, okay, what's an island? That would be, it was a colony and then became a republic. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I can, yes. That's in the
Singapore.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
To quote Tom Waits, "We sailed tonight for Singapore." Yes, that was you pulled it out of the air. That's fantastic. Well done. He does this every week.
Singapore was part of China. I never realized it was an independent republic. That shows you how much I know. I don't know things.
I guess you have Singapoverty then. You went from Singapore.
Funny.
No, it wasn't. That was terrible. I admit that was terrible. And now we have hopefully a joke that will go not terribly for our new contestants, Harry Hahn and Charles Nelson. So are you ready, guys, for your first official question? Oh, yeah, they're excited. Here we go. The year was 1843. Opening tonight at the Bowery Amphitheater, Dan Emmett and the Virginia Serenaders in concert. Because of this, history credits them as the first type of what?
Read that again.
Sure, of course. 1843. Opening tonight at the Bowery Amphitheater, Dan Emmett and the Virginia Serenaders in concert. Because of that, history credits them as the first type of what?
It's too early for minstrel shows. I think it's minstrel. Go with that. But he says minstrel. I think it's too early, but I haven't got anything else to point to. A minstrel show?
Is that your final answer?
Oh, buddy, we're trapped.
This is the NPR question. Are you going to go with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I hope you guys don't get any minstrel cramps because, yes, that was the correct answer. As a matter of fact, that form of entertainment started even earlier, but this was the official first minstrel show that they could do because they called it a concert, and they allowed it, and it allowed it to become more popular. Are
you saying that there were rules against blackface in 1843? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, if it was a variety show, they could. They couldn't, but because it was a concert, they could play for higher class audiences.
Oh,
they became the first official minstrel show, and these were the guys who popularized Jimmy Crackcorn, Old Dan Tucker, and this guy Dan Emmett. He wrote a little song called Dixie. So just FYI, I wish I wasn't. That was him. So well done. Well, I got to tell you guys, Charles and Harry, sometimes we have new guests on this program. They don't get any questions right. They get a big old zero even by the end of the quiz. You got two. So no matter what, well done. Congratulations already. Not only that, you are in second place because David has 3 points and Leslie has 1, and you two have 2. So good going. We get to the next round where the first question, though, goes back to David Short, who can build the lead. The year, 1851. Premiering tonight in Dusseldorf is this composer's third symphony, nicknamed the Rhenish. It was a much-needed triumph for him, since he just failed badly as a conductor and would spend his last 3 years battling mental illness and mercury poisoning.
Oh.
Name him.
Well, I should know this because my husband is like a real classical music expert. I think it's too early for Wagner. I'm going to guess Haydn.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Wait. Sorry, I'm playing hide and go seek. But you know, come on, David.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
I'm sorry, David, but that was the correct response, but not the correct answer.
Oh, okay.
To the question. So we get a potential for a steal. I'm going to roll the die, and the die,
like he might know.
Oh, the die has come up number 4, which would bring it directly to David, but the closest would be Harry and Charles. So, Harry and Charles, you get to steal the question. I can read it again. 1851 is the year, February 6th the date. Premiering tonight in Dusseldorf is this composer's third symphony, the Rhenish. It was a much-needed triumph for him, since he just failed badly as a conductor and would spend his last 3 years battling mental illness and mercury poisoning. Name him.
It's the German group. So, but I'm really torn. It's Brahms or Schumann. I'll say Brahms.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, my little desperate final answer.
I don't have a pun for this one either, but I'm afraid that is not the correct answer. It was not Brahms. So, Leslie Hoban Blake, would you like to try to steal?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I should just steal from what Charlie said or not. So, I mean, it's legal, right? It's my turn.
It is.
Of course it's legal.
Well, based on the Katharine Hepburn Clara Schumann, as David and I basically know our history from movies, based on that, Schumann definitely had mental problems. I would say but that's probably the wrong time period. So Charlie, forgive me, but I love the idea of Schumann, so I'll take that as the possibility. Schumann.
Well, is that your final?
Yeah, I'm waiting for what you're going to say now.
Hey, I'm only Schumann after all. Thank you very much. By the way, Leslie, and this happens, Charles and Harry. You did you know it before they said it? Did you?
I did not. I wanted to say to you, Charlie, don't give away answers out loud. Yeah, David and I have a tendency to do that. We should have warned you in advance. I'm sorry about that. I've never apologized to anybody for taking their, but yeah, if you're dumb enough to give it, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, nice, Leslie. That's
no offense. Is that the right answer?
Well, the thing is, because we're dealing with Schumann, I guess you had a moment of clarity. But yes, it was in fact Robert Schumann.
Mr. Peabody.
And the crazy thing is, when I was at the Blue Heron, I was working on a play about Clara Schumann, but it didn't occur to me date-wise. I didn't plug the date in.
Yeah, so, 1851 was his third.
Yeah, no,
this was his last.
Charlie, I'll try to repay the favor at some point.
But he had 4 total symphonies, but the last one was a revision of an earlier one. So that was essentially that was his last symphony.
Well, she had to go out and support the whole family, playing the piano and playing his work around the world. That was and that's where Brahms came in and sort of quote supported her. Oh, Clara, you're too heavy. That was basically what that was.
Oh my, well, let's see how we're doing here. We have, a 3-3 tie between David and Leslie, with Harry and Charles not very far away at all. They've got 2 points, but this next question goes directly to Leslie Hoban Blake, so she can take the lead on this
Who will not be giving her thought process out loud, Charlie.
It's so much
Just so
fun
you
to
know.
hear.
Right, you're right. I'm so confused, but you're right. It was my question. Now it
Yes,
goes.
yes, I stole. You all tried to steal, and I
got
took
it,
the words
got
out
it,
of Charlie's mouth. Yes, right.
The year 1894.
You
William
get us out of the 1800s. I'm really not up for it this
was a
morning.
tail end.
Go
And
ahead,
this one's,
go
a,
ahead.
multiple, this one's a multiple choice, so here we go.
Oh, great.
William Painter took out a patent on his latest invention today. More than 100 years later, a company that named itself William Painter in his honor patented its own brand of sunglasses. These glasses incorporate Painter's 1894 invention. What can these glasses do? And here's the multiple choice. Do they A, conduct electricity, B, open a beer bottle, C, magnify 2, 5, or 8 times, depending on which part of the lens you look through, or D, write with a pen on one end and a pencil on the other? Leslie, are you frozen or are you there? Uh-oh.
These are glasses. Drinking
Oh,
glasses or sea glasses?
Wait, I'll read the question again.
Hello?
Well, so
No,
you
but
guys,
I need a clarification. Is it
They are-
seeing
they are-
glasses? Okay, well, I thought so.
they are
but-
sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
William
Sunglasses,
Painter-
thank you. Okay, duh.
Okay. In 1894, William Painter took out a patent on his latest invention. 100 years later, a company named itself in his honor patented its own brand of sunglasses. These glasses incorporate Painter's 1894 invention. What can they do? Is it A, conduct electricity, B, open a beer bottle, C, magnify 2, 5, or 8 times, depending on which part of the lens you look through, or D, write with a pen on one end and a pencil on the other?
$100 years later would be 1998, right? Just so I'm sure. My math is not the
Yeah.
best.
Well, the original patent was 1894. Is the patent?
So it'll be 1994.
1994.
Okay, so that's too early for certain things I was thinking of. I don't know what purpose they would serve, and it's the obvious answer, but I'm going to go for it anyway. The 3, 5, 8, or whatever you said, the different magnifications.
The multiple magnifications.
Yeah, it's just a logical answer, but it's probably wrong.
Well, Leslie, I'm afraid in this case, size does not matter. That is not the correct answer. So we get a steal possibility. Thank you very much. And we just rolled a number 1, which is closer to Harry than to Harry and Charles than to David. So Harry and Charles, you get the opportunity to steal this question. Do you need me to read the choices again?
Yes.
Or are you good? Yeah. Okay. So these glasses from this new company use what William Painter incorporated back in 1894. What can these glasses do? Is it A, conduct electricity, B, open a beer bottle, C, magnify 2, 5, or 8 times, depending on which part of the lens you look through, or D, write with a pen on one end and a pencil on the other?
Well, I don't think D would be very advantageous. Anyway,
We'll go with 1,
yeah,
the first one, the electricity.
I am shocked by your answer because it is incorrect. I'm sorry, guys. David Seward gets a chance to steal.
So it's either opening bottle tops, or what are the choices now?
Okay, the remaining choices are open a beer bottle or write with a pen on one end and a pencil on the other.
Huh. Now, if it were the beer bottle one, then Stanley Kowalski could give it to his cousin, who could open a beer bottle with his teeth.
Smile.
And yeah. Our cousin, all he could do was open beer bottles with his teeth. And he broke off his tooth. No, that's terrible. It doesn't sound anything like Marlon.
I don't know what. Yeah, this English.
No, you've gone back to Monty Python with that.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
It's like your brain hurts.
Oh, it's Gumby. That's right. Well, he would be Gummy if he was freaking.
All right, so it's either open a beer bottle
Horrified the
or
guests.
a pencil with one and a pen with the other.
Right.
Either of those are particularly ridiculous. It's just absurd. So
Attention.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the pen and the pencil then.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, even though it's about a pen and a pencil, you are not right. The answer was it was a beer bottle. It was a bottle.
Wow.
In fact, William Painter invented the crown cap on bottles. You know, the ridgy things on.
The little, okay.
And then he invented the opener so people can get them off. So no points on that.
I thought he said sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Where did the sunglasses come from?
They have, if you go on and look for William Painter, the company, they invented sunglasses where you can take the glasses and it's got a little hook and you go, and you can open a beer bottle with them. That's
actually, you know what I was doing that imitation? It was Bullwinkle the Moose imitating Marlon Brando.
Oh, I see.
The episode of where Bullwinkle thinks he's a movie star and he goes to Hollywood. And Boris.
There is no such episode. He is making this up.
No. And he goes to Hollywood and
really? Okay. All
Boris
right.
pretends to be a director and steals all of his money because he has to finance the movie. And Natasha plays the leading lady. And the movie they're making is called A Trolley Named Tallulah.
I love it. I also love that one where Bullwinkle comes up out of the mire and starts going, the horror. It was a great moment.
David,
I'm not making that up. That is a real episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
David, are they showing Rocky and Bullwinkle on that station you watch on Saturday mornings too?
No.
Oh.
Because I would go back. I would go back and watch that one. Tom and Jerry, I'm not interested in, but I would go back.
Rocky and Bullwinkle were great. By the way, we have still a tie between David and Leslie, but Harry and Charles now can actually jump into the lead if they get this question correct. You guys ready?
He's trying to open it, but it doesn't work. I don't know.
Oh, man. Well, that's unbearable. Okay, 1921 is the year.
We're in the 20th century, finally.
1921 is the year, but this is for Harry and Charles.
Okay.
For the second week in a row, we have a Charles Chaplin question. Released today by First National Pictures was Chaplin's first feature film as a director. The title referred to his 6-year-old co-star. For 1 point, name the movie. For the second, the co-star.
The kid.
Okay. Let me read the question again, because this is a 2-part question. It's a 2-point question. So for 1 point, it's name the movie. For the second point, the co-star. So, what was that? Okay. Is that your final answer?
Now and forever.
Well, I guess you aren't kidding. Well done. That is the correct answer. Jackie Coogan, of course. And he, just for trivia's sake, he earned like $4 million as a child actor, squandered by his parents, which led, of course, to the Coogan Bill, regulating child actors' hours in schooling and leaving 15% of a kid's earnings automatically in a trust. But I trust that you guys did really, really well. You knew that one.
And he ended his life as Uncle Fester, so there you go.
Yeah.
Betty Grable married him for his money and divorced him.
Really? Well,
when Chaplin was over here at the Oscars, they were taking him around, and Walter Matthau was keeping worthless people away from him, and Jackie Coogan tried to get up to him, and when Chaplin saw he was being thwarted, he rushed up to him and said, "I'd rather see you than anyone."
That's nice. That is nice.
Yeah.
Good for
How
him.
did he recognize him?
He was a television star.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I know. I'm being facetious.
Well, was that already when he was Fester, or was it in between? Was it because that would have been pretty late?
In between, I don't think
72.
anybody recognized him.
Yeah.
71 or 72 is when he was here.
So that was after the Addams Family.
Oh, okay. All right. Then. So anyway, by the way, we have isn't this lovely? We have our guests who are leading the game. Harry and Charles have 4. David and Leslie each have 3. But now we go to the final round of the game. So it's
I
anybody's
wouldn't
game.
applaud any other guests, Harry and Charles, just so you know.
Here we go. The first question, though, of the new round goes to David Sheward directly.
Okay.
The year 1922.
Uh-huh.
Born today in Chicago is this American cinematographer whose film works included Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, The Thomas Crown Affair, Bound for Glory, and the political docudrama Medium Cool, which he also directed. Name him.
Haskell Wexler.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
That's
Great,
great.
David.
We got a bunch of people nodding, but I haven't asked if your final answer.
We don't need it. We all know it.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a very cool answer. It was indeed Haskell Wexler, cinematographer, and very briefly a film director. So that is well done, David Sheward. Was that one too easy, guys? Well, I guess for film buffs, it would.
Well,
I would love to have seen more stuff that he directed. I think he had a really weird perspective. No pun on being a
yeah,
cinematographer.
Medium Cool is not
So
seen
the
so often.
The end of Picnic, where the camera is following the bus, which crosses the train at the very end. Very difficult shot, and he hung out of a helicopter to get that shot.
Wow. Yeah. And no,
It
is
was
it?
a hero of my son's who went out to LA to try to be a cinematographer. It didn't work out, but that was his goal in life, was to be the next Haskell Wexler. So, you know, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, David. You're going to say something.
What was it? Me or the
No,
other day?
David, I'm pointing because you're all in different places on the screen.
Oh,
David Lefkowitz was about to say something and I interrupted.
Oh, no, that's fine. And to make things easier when this happens, like I'm Dave, that'll be David. So we'll both know. I was like, so, but no, I wasn't. No, I'm just congratulating on an answer well done. So yay.
Well done.
We now have David in the lead with 5 points to Harry and Charles's 4 and Leslie's 3. But Leslie gets the next question. So let's see.
Haskell Wexler.
In doubt.
There you go.
Morticia.
The
You're
year.
trying to trick everybody, I know.
Yeah. The year is 1935. Okay. Monopoly, the Parker Brothers game, debuts today. Which of these was not another early Parker Brothers game?
Wow. Okay.
Multiple choice. A, Klondike. B, banking. C, the war in Cuba. D, Mata Hari.
So that means 3 of those were actually games and one of them was not.
3 of these
That's,
are actual
that's
games.
unbelievable.
One
Okay.
of these was not an actual.
I want to play the war in
Brothers game.
Cuba. That sounds like fun.
I want to play Mata Hari. I always wanted to play Mata Hari. It just never happened. Okay. Mata Hari, banking, the war with Cuba, and what was the other one?
The first one is Klondike. Which of those is
Klondike.
not or was not an actual Parker Brothers game?
I so want to talk my thing out loud, but now we told Charlie not to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Oh boy. I talk better out loud than up in my head is the problem.
It's more fun when you do it out loud, but are you going to...
It is, because I can keep track of what I'm thinking.
What did you say?
Like you're gonna... Oh, sorry. Yes, David?
Oh, no, Dave, what did you say? It's more fun when you do it out loud?
No, I said that.
And then I said, that's what you said last night.
Oh!
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, my operation.
Oh, yes.
I know what the answer to that is, Dave Sheward. It's Mr. Grant.
There you go. So,
okay, wait now.
but the thing is, Leslie, you can't give away the answer of the game name because we know that the answer is one of these.
Not.
No,
This is
but the
thought process.
thing is, by process of elimination, I start to eliminate things, and it puts other people's, at least with me, if people do that, I start to think a different way. So I'm going to just hold on to it.
That's what
She
you
said
said
last night. No,
You owe me a Coke, as they used to say.
you owe me a Coke. Yeah.
Yeah. Owe me Coke.
With a sunglass bottle opener. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
My cousin will open it for you, Blanche.
He can't anymore. That's what he said last night.
He's so embarrassed. He couldn't face anybody.
It's David Shore's world. We're all just visiting. Here we go. Leslie,
I'm trying. Wait, I just have. Now I've got to clear my mind and get into this.
Sure.
Okay, Klondike banking, war with Cuba, Mata Hari. Klondike banking. 1935, right?
that is when Monopoly came out. These are all games,
Oh,
early games.
they were early.
Oh,
These
read
were
the
early
question.
games.
Not
Oh,
necessarily.
totally misunderstood.
Not necessarily 1935.
Got you. Okay, thank you. I'm glad I did talk out loud then. Okay.
The war in Cuba.
So these were games that were somewhere before. Well,
These were early.
one that was not.
games.
The game that was not.
Right.
Not true.
Not true. That makes sense. Okay.
It's the Chiz Bop finger game that Leslie is playing there.
Yeah, right. No, I'm going through why each of those might or might not be a game. I'm going to go with Mata Hari because the only things that they could play, the kids could not play that game. So knowing the Mata Hari story, kids could not play that game. So I'm going to go with Mata Hari.
Mata Hari?
Well, I spy with my little eye a correct answer. Well done, Leslie.
Okay.
Nice. Good show.
Back in the game. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leslie with 5 points. So it's still a tie game between Leslie and David. However, Charles and Harry can not only tie but take the lead if they get their question.
I predict an overthrow.
This is going to be really interesting, this game right here.
Wasn't there a Mata Hari musical?
Yes.
Yes, there was. And you know who wrote it? Martin Charnin.
No, and it was a big flop, or it didn't get closed out of town or something.
It was a terrible flop, and he tried to do it again at the York. Right around the time I was interviewing him, he
There
was working
one
with the York.
song about war
Mama.
that Tommy Smothers sang on the Anne Bancroft special.
Wow. Wow.
Didn't Vincent Minnelli direct the Washington version of that?
Yes.
You got me. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
And actually, it was an early
Disagree.
version.
Yeah, Anne Bancroft had this variety special, and Tommy Smothers sang it, and she played his mother.
What the hell did she do on her own special besides playing his mother?
Oh, she was.
Oh, she did a
She had a
comedy sketch.
special. Can I find it online somewhere?
She did a comedy sketch with Lee J. Cobb. She did a musical number. She did a couple of comedy sketches. It was called Annie, the Women in the Life of a Man.
Wow.
And it was
Google
one
it.
show or it
Look
was
it
an
up.
it was a
It was
special.
a one-time special.
Okay, I'm going to try to find it.
On
That
that
sounds
series,
wonderful.
Stage 67, and it was originally done to show her off.
Yeah.
It was all sketches and songs, and it just showed you how versatile she
And
was.
she did
Did Mel Brooks produce it or what?
no, it was CBS, and she did
No, it was ABC Stage 67.
ABC, and she
that.
did she recited poems by Judith Viehurst about love and marriage and
I already love it because I love Judith
okay.
Viehurst.
I'm sorry. That was a whole rabbit hole. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. Well, and actually, what was interesting is even though that show was a flop, they were trying out a song that would later be very big in Annie. The sun will come out to Mata.
Mr. Peabody.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He did it. He actually did it.
Terrible.
He don't try to think he can't because he'll find a way.
I will find a way.
Slithers around.
Oh, aren't you ashamed? And are you frozen? Oh, sorry. I was frozen for a minute.
We're gonna, we'll see you all. We've got one more question in our third round. So this is very
I'd love
interesting.
to get paper. and pen.
Okay.
Well, that'll be if we have a tiebreaker. Yeah, if you guys have pen and paper, we might need. Well, either way, we're going to do the 10th question no matter what. But this is what's going to happen. The 9th question goes to Charles and Harry. If they get it right, they will actually win the game. If they get it wrong, we will have. Actually, there could be steals and something like that. So we might need the tiebreaker, we might not. But right now, we are tied between David and Leslie.
I could have done without that pressure.
Here we go. Oh, this is a fun one. The year 1980. John Wayne Gacy goes on trial today for murdering 33 young men. Which of these is not true about him? This is a multiple choice. A, he once managed 3 Kentucky Fried Chicken franchises. B, after Gacy was executed, his brain was removed and given to the forensic psychologist who testified in his insanity defense. C, active in the local Democratic Party, he once posed for an official photo with Rosalind Carter. Or D, among Gacy's paintings in jail were a series based on scenes in Walt Disney's Fantasia. So, which of these is not true, Charles and Harry, about John Wayne Gacy?
So you gotta read those choices again. Read the
Of course.
Which one is not true?
True, right. Because this is the day that John Wayne Gacy went on trial back in 1980. Which of these is not true of this murderer of 33 young men? A, he once managed 3 Kentucky Fried Chicken franchises. B, after he was executed, Gacy's brain was removed and given to the forensic psychologist who testified in his insanity defense. C, active in the local Democratic Party, he once posed for an official photo with Rosalind Carter. Or D, among Gacy's paintings in jail were a series based on scenes in Walt Disney's Fantasia. Which of these is not true?
Because all those other things could be true.
Yeah, all those other things could be true, so we say number one. Number one.
So you said number 1? Is that your?
Yeah. The Kentucky Fried. I don't believe that.
Oh, I'm afraid you chickened out of that one. That is not the correct answer, guys. Oh dear, oh dear. So we get a steal possibility here, which could break the tie. Let's see how we do here. I'm gonna roll. Come on, roll the die. Thank you. Here we go. And the die comes up with yet another number 2. So Leslie gets the possibility of stealing this question. Leslie Hobank Blake, do you need me to read?
I just wanted to say, if I'm not mistaken, one of the ways he lured the boys to his home was with the Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, seriously, that's not a joke. That's not a joke. I believe that's true.
Yeah, but did you know they kicked the bucket? Didn't kick the bucket. That's just
they're looking good.
And then they wound up on the menu.
Wasn't a cannibal.
No, he did everything but that.
Okay, I think the answer is the Fantasia. I believe he drew clowns in prison, not things from Fantasia. So I think it's I think
I heard that too. Yeah.
No, I saw pictures of the clowns. I don't know about Fantasia.
So Leslie, what's your answer?
Is that number 4, Fantasia?
Number 4 is, yeah, that is number 4.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, you did a fantastic. That's terrible. You did great, Leslie. That is the correct answer. Because yes, John Wayne Gacy, of course, was a children's party clown. He dressed up as a clown. He painted clowns, but he actually did a series. He called it the Hi Ho series that he painted in jail, based on Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
Oh, okay. Then I was wrong about that, but I was right about the other. Okay.
It was not Fantasia. He wasn't doing the hippo, and he wasn't doing
right.
Yeah. So Leslie Hoban Blake, you have you have 7 points and have officially won the game. But just for funsies, we always like to do.
Hey, that's 2 in a row, David. I want that on the leaderboard or whatever we've got.
Yeah, I gotta go back. I keep track of these. But and by the way, do you know what you won, Leslie? Not a thing. I'm sorry.
I know, not a thing. No.
No, she won bragging rights.
Bragging rights, indeed.
The love and admiration of my fellow players. I know.
Pen and pencils ready,
David,
folks.
All right.
Next week,
Right back.
the flag.
You need a pen and pencil, guys. You need a pen and
A little
paper.
piece of paper, a little scrap paper, and a pen or a pencil. And Leslie, by the way,
Something you
Joyce
can
said,
hold up so we can show it.
Leslie, next week you get to wear the red plaid shirt, so that's gonna be really.
I have one of those. It's dirty, but I have one. I got to get
Did
the
you wash
laundry
it?
done. That's why I'm wearing pajamas.
Now, the reason we ask for pen and paper is the tiebreaker. What we'll do is we ask the question, everybody gets to answer it just for fun, but I give a 3, 2, 1 countdown and you all show it at the same time because we're all answering at the same. Everybody gets the question together.
It's
All
like
right.
Jeopardy, tell them. It's like Jeopardy.
It's like, yeah, I guess, yeah, sort of like Final Jeopardy. Yeah.
All right.
Are you all ready?
Yeah.
The year 1940. What?
Final depravity.
1945. Born today in St. Anne Parish, Jamaica, is Robert Nesta Marley, one of the most beloved and influential pop musicians of all time. In 1973, he created the Tough Gong label, which was distributed by Island Records. Which of these was not the title of an official Marley studio album there? Not the title.
The exception.
Yeah.
Got it.
Multiple choice. Here we go. Was it A, Africa Unite, B, Uprising, C, Babylon by Bus, D, Survival?
Oh, I like all of them.
So those are the choices. I'll
One
read.
more time, David.
Yeah.
Them
So
again.
We
which
just
of
have
these,
to write the number. We just have to write the number, right?
or the letter, yeah, A, B, C, or D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which of these was not the title of an official Bob Marley studio album on Tough Gong Records, on Island Records? Was it A, Africa Unite, B, Uprising, C, Babylon by Bus, D, Survival? So tell me when you're ready, and then I'll give a countdown.
All right.
Okay.
Leslie, you ready?
Mhm.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I see D is Survival from David. Leslie, hold it up. You got Leslie has Babylon by Bus. I can't see yours, Charles. Can you hold it?
Turn it around, Charles. You're holding it the wrong way.
C. Oh my goodness. Thank you, guys. And the answer is
Wait.
oh no, man. You all need to smoke more ganja, man. Yeah, it's the worst impression I've.
You're South Asian, honey.
That was not South Asian. It was not. Anyway, the answer was Africa Unite. That is a song on the 1979 album Survival, but it was not one of the.
I've heard
Oh,
that.
it's a trick. You tricked us.
Before anybody leaves for the
Okay.
day, my building has an online a Zoom trivia thing. It's very, very cutthroat. It's not like this where we're all very collegial. It's quite cutthroat. Hang on a second. I just lost you all.
No, oh, we're here. We're here.
No, but I did something stupid and I lost you here. And Dave Lefkowitz plays with us. Charlie Gross plays with us. We're 11th on the leaderboard. I would love some backup if any of you want to join the team. It's called Critics Corner is the team. I've asked you, David Sheridan, and you never come. But this Wednesday night, if you're interested.
Oh, God.
I have a job, Leslie.
Oh, forgive me, David. Forgive me. Okay, yes, you do. I know you do. It's at 8:00 at night, David, for half an hour. You know,
For an hour, so it goes a little.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Charlie and Harry, if you're interested, as coming in as one unit, I can send you the link to it. Should I send it to you? I'll send it to Harry.
Sure, send us the link.
Ask them what they
Okay.
forgot.
It's a lot of fun.
Because
But
it is all critics who are in it. That's why I'm saying that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would love to have. So they're going to fill your place, Stuart. I'm never going to ask you again. So that's that. There you go.
All right.
But it is fun, and it's Leslie says it's cutthroat because you can win like $200 if you sum.
Oh yeah, there's a $200 prize. I forgot to say that.
When-
Sorry,
when-
there's a $200 prize.
When the school year is over, maybe I can.
Okay. No, I understand, David. I really do. I just.
By the way, can I ask? Joyce and I just watched last night on the Irish Repertory Theatre website. I finally got to see Bill Irwin's On Beckett.
Wasn't it wonderful?
I loved it. I thought it was. Did
He
you guys?
redid it specifically for that shoot, and he really made it alive for the shoot. It wasn't just somebody taping his old show. You know, it was wonderful. I loved what he did.
Yeah, did you
I
guys
love
get to see it in
Bill.
person or the video of it?
I saw it in person as well, and then I saw the video, and I saw exactly what he did that changed everything. Did you guys see it?
Charles?
In person.
Yeah, I didn't see
Yeah.
it. He did.
But you have to watch it online because it really he shows you what the possibilities of Zoom are. So many people simply show something that they've taped that was already done, and he came back in the theater and did it in front of an empty theater so that it could be specifically for the camera and specifically talking to us. And he kept breaking and talking about what was going on and making it very, very visceral, you know.
There's more Bill Irwin than Beckett. I like that. Yeah.
Ari Schrepp does very good stuff there.
They do.
I've seen several things that are very good.
Yeah.
They actually did a kiss by Zoom. There was a kiss.
Meet me in St. Louis.
No tongues, but it was a kiss.
Yes, it was on Meet Me in St. Louis. It was very cute. Yes.
So all the other Irish Rep online shows, which should, because I've got like 9 of them there, which are the ones that Joyce and I should really, make sure to check out?
Very much. I thought the Weird was one.
The Weird.
The Weird was good.
Yes, so is
And Meet Me in St. Louis if you didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the Meet Me in St. Louis, and I don't really need to see, even though it's a wonderful play, Molly Sweeney again. But is that is that good?
Well, my old buddy Jonathan Hogan is in it. I directed his cabaret show, so he's in that.
In that Molly Sweeney
version. It's a lovely play. I mean, you don't need to put it on. It's basically 3 monologues, so it doesn't matter if it's on Zoom.
No, but they just did it off Broadway like 2 years ago, and I'm like, okay, I kind of have seen enough of this play.
It's easy not to want to see it again. I understand.
But okay,
Open.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I know what they opened up.
Jonathan
I went
Hogan.
to see their Jonathan Hogan. I went to see their hang on, their Noel Coward show in the theater, and I hated it.
Oh.
I hated it. I thought it was static, and I didn't think anybody knew what they were doing, and they were reading the lyrics. It was K.T. Sullivan and Steve Ross, both of whom I love in cabaret.
Steve Ross. He's a friend in the neighborhood.
Now I take and I reviewed it as such. I did not care for it. Then they went and made a Zoom out of it, and they went to the Players Club, and they opened the fucker up. Pardon my language, but they opened it up so beautifully. It was fantastic, wasn't it? The Zoom.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I enjoyed it very much.
Zoom was fantastic. The play on stage, it was static. The Zoom was wonderful because of the setting and the way they showed it, and it didn't look like anybody was reading. It was brilliant. So Zoom can be helpful.
Love Noel.
Also,
Love Noel.
Right?
Yeah, it's on what we're talking about. By the way, the Irish Repertory Theater has irishrep.org, their website. They're making 9 of their plays available in kind of Zoomy form, and it's suggested donation. They suggest a $25 donation, but it's give what you can, pay what you can, donate more or less. And so, this is the first of the Irish, because we've been watching the ones from the Mint Theater and enjoying those, and this is the first Irish.
I didn't know the Mint had some. I'll go look.
Well,
Thank you. I'm looking for stuff to do. We're going to watch. By the way, we're going to watch Hershey Felder Sholem Aleichem before Fiddler this Sunday night. If you're interested, I will send you the name of the person to contact for a link. Because I'm not allowed to send the link,
I know.
But if you like Hershey Felder, I don't know if it's good or not, but I love Hershey Felder. So he's got a klezmer band in it, and he's playing Sholem Aleichem.
He should actually do that in a restaurant or a pub or a Hershey bar. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Today Yesterday quiz. I want to thank so much for joining us. First of all, Leslie.
Can Harry and Charlie come back just to play the game if they want to?
Yes, we would love to have you guys back to play our Today Yesterday quiz. What Leslie's talking about is our new friends of the neighborhood, longtime journalist Harry Horn. Make sure to read his novel, read his book when he completes it. And Harry, I wasn't clear before. Are you still writing anything for Theater Pizzazz? Is there new stuff people can read yours online?
I'm not regularly doing it right now. I'm doing the book, but I have 2 other books on the market.
Which are the movie quote book and what's the other?
Cinematic Century.
Cinematic Century, and they're still available, and people can buy them and read.
I have your Cinematic Century. I love it, Harry. I dig into it all the time.
Oh yay!
I got that at NBR. Remember when we were at NBR? That's where I got that book. Was at NBR. Yeah.
So, and I also want to give a shout out to Harry's husband, who is Charles Nelson. So, if you are a university or a high school that is hiring theater teachers, and so let's talk about the Zoom thing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So yes, Charles Nelson, do contact him. And how can I forget David Sheward? David, read him in the David Desk blog, as well as his book about George C. Scott, as well as theaterlife.com and culturalweekly.com. Folks, it's been absolutely a delight having you in the neighborhood this week.
You didn't list my credits. You listed all of theirs.
I'm sorry. Leslie Hoban, like
no, only because you listed everybody else.
Only because you interrupted me and started talking about...
That's true. It's very hard being the girl in the group. You know, it says no girls allowed, and I get in anyway.
You used up all your time.
Anyway, Leslie Hoban and Charlie Gross are watchable on Critics Circle. You can watch it on YouTube. What is your... Leslie, I will let you say, what is the most recent Critics Circle topic or guest?
We just reviewed Lazarus, One Night in Miami, and oh God, what was the last thing? The other one. And we did that because of because of Leslie Odom Jr. It has to have a theater connection in some way if it's a film. And the Trial of the Chicago 7 by Aaron Sorkin. You must watch if you have Netflix. You must watch the Trial of the Chicago 7. Brilliant.
You know, Rennie Davis died. One of the last remaining.
He did. Oh,
I think it was Rennie who was the most recent.
Yeah, because Bobby Seale, Rennie Davis, and I can't remember the other one. One of the lawyers or somebody.
Yeah, there's two living. I think Bobby Seale is still alive, which is amazing.
Yes, he is, and he's been talking lately.
One Night in Miami was based on a play, so that's.
It was indeed. I'm sorry. Yeah, I never saw it, so did you?
Well, it's not your Amy, it's my Amy, but
Oh boy.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in the neighborhood. Have a wonderful guys, Charlie and Harry. Please come back and play the Today Yesterday game in the future, and of course, David and Leslie next week, 10:45 in the morning, unless it's a slightly different time. Hope to see you there. Sounds good?
Whenever we get here, right? Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So long.
Let's see.
Just removing folks one by one. Don't report. I can remove you. I'm doing it now. Bye, guys.
What a great group, honey.
That was fun. That was lively. That was.
They were the guests that got the most right, I think, ever.
Yeah, they came close to winning. They were one question away.
The theater people tend to do better. Last time, the Betty Davis woman,
she did all right with
her husband. They teams of guests do better than individual guests.
Yeah. So, well, I have my team right here. It's my darling and adorable wife, Joyce.
You want me to get you a flannel shirt, a checkered flannel shirt?
Next week, that's right. Next, I gotta wear red checkered flannel. Yes. Especially since it'll be like the day before Valentine.
But it's long sleeves. You're gonna be warm.
That's fine. That's fine. No, we gotta do it. Gotta do the red checker for next. Because of my checkered past. You're watching Dave's Gone By. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. This is our 784th episode of the show. We're wild about Harry and Charles. Yeah. Gotta kind of change the title, but it's wild about Harry and Charles for being with us in the neighborhood, our new friends on the show. Well, we've had some fun so far on the program. We had Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Rabbi Saul came in and read some newspapers for us. We did our Today Yesterday quiz. We still haven't really talked officially about Broadway. So we've got our Inside Broadway segment coming up, and as well as our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. But before we get to those, it's only fair, first of all, to thank so much one of our sponsors of the show, the fine folks at Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway. Since the mid-1970s, the Torong family has owned and operated this particular franchise.
Arnie said, fantastic, I loved your Harry.
Oh, Arnie. Arnie's an actor who has been... Yeah. I used to see him at, I think it was the Pearl Theater for many years, and it's great that he's still doing his thing. He's done some Broadway now. Anyway, Minuteman Press, They're located right in the heart of Hewlett, Long Island, about 2.5 blocks from the train station. And essentially, they moved 2 stores over, but they're essentially in the same place, doing the same quality work, whether you're making color copies, black and white copies, or you're doing any of these amazing services that they can help with your business. For example, we've got Harry Horn. We've got a double H there. So let's see what they can do for you with the letter, just with the letter H. They do halftones. They do Hebrew New Year cards, high-speed duplicating, hole punching, holiday cards and invitations, and my favorite, hot stamping.
Ooh.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Hot stamp.
I would hate hot stamping because, if I was sending a letter, it burned my tongue. But, I'm sorry. I'm always sorry. Anyway, Hewlett Man Press. Thank you so much. They do digital copying, full bindery service, gifts. They have elegant stationery. This is what they do, and give them a call. 516-569-5577, area code 516-569-5577. And if you tell them Dave sent you get 10% off any job, big or small. 516-569-5577. Hewlett Minuteman, they are the copy kings. Well, as I always say, I feel like king of the universe when I do this program on Saturday mornings. And one of the things that makes it so much fun is having friends of the neighborhood, like Leslie Hoban Blake, like David Sheward, like our new friend Harry Horn, and our new friend Charles Nelson. But we've had literally, and Harry has interviewed thousands of guests over the years. We've had hundreds of guests just on this program. We like to kind of keep you posted and let you know what they have been up to in a segment that we like to call the Friends of the Neighborhood. So I want to remind you that our multi-talented friend Ben Vereen, he is giving an 8-week online master class, and he's doing it through the auspices of the Bay Street Theater on Long Island. So do check that out for fans of Pippin and all the other things Ben Vereen has done. It's an online master class. Go Googling it. You'll find it for Ben Vereen. Also reminding you that Lorraine Newman from Saturday Night Live, she's got a new memoir out that she's recorded for Audible. It's called May You Live in Interesting Times. And don't forget that you can pre-order a book by Jennifer Ashley Tepper. She has not been in the neighborhood, I should probably ask her, but she's doing this series, this oral history of Broadway called Untold Stories of Broadway, and it's all about the great Broadway theaters. Interviewees in these books include numerous friends of the neighborhood, such as Jamie DeRoy, Frank Wildhorn, Lonnie Price, Alan Menken, Tanya Pinkins, Jason Gra, Anita Gillette, and more. It's Jennifer Ashley Tepper's Untold Stories of Broadway. She's done 3 of them already. She is working on the 4th that you can pre-order. I want to let you know that Amy Coleman has done an online kind of video theatery thing called In Lockdown with Esther and Henry. It features Amy Coleman in it, and it's at newyiddishrep.org. newyiddishrep.org. Playing now through, just to today. Today's the last day to see Tamara Tooney read Black Butterfly. It's a new TV script, and you can watch it at amasmusical.org. AMAS musical.org. Also tonight, as he's been doing for month after month, Jorma Kaukonen of Hot Tuna, of course, and Jefferson Airplane. Jorma Kaukonen is doing a solo concert. You can watch it free on YouTube. It's coming from his Fur Peace Ranch. Just find Jorma Kaukonen on YouTube and get his new album. It's called The River Flows, and it's a duet. It's a combination thing with John Hurlbut, Jorma Kaukonen. There is a round table taking place today that is talking about Stephen Sondheim at age 90. Sondheim turned 90 a few months ago. Lonnie Price is taking part in that. It's being done by the Porchlight Theater on YouTube, so go find Porchlight Theater for that. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., Edward Einhorn's How to Play Dreidel with a Maccabee virtual story. I know, we're 3 months away already from Hanukkah, but there you go. How to Play Dragle with a Maccabee, Untitled Theater with an ER.com. And then on February 12th, I think that is this Friday, Judy Collins is doing an online concert for the Town Hall. Go to thetownhall.org. It's literally thetownhall.org. Evan Comstock and Barbara Fasano doing, speaking of concerts, they post songs almost every day on their YouTube channel, Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano. StageBuddy.com, a fine website of New York nightlife run by our friend Evan Seplow. Dr. Demento is Dr. Demento. He's got a website. He has archived his shows going back to the 1970s, and he's still making new shows every week. You have to pay a little something, but it's Dr. Demento at drdemento.com. Soundsofbroadway.com, that's Stuart Brown's website of 24/7 theater music. And you can watch live Facebook shows being done by our friends of the neighborhood, David J. Gersten and Ellie King of Broadway. And of course, Bob Cudmore doing podcasts of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. Those, my friends, are the friends of the neighborhood. Whew. Well, it is noon exactly on this Saturday, February 6, 2021, where we are doing the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the Stream. We're calling this one Wild About Harry. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, though. That's my wonderful wife, Joyce. And we have just a little bit more to get to. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up. But even though we talked a bit of theater with theater people like Harry and David and Leslie, we haven't done our weekly theater segment that I like to call Inside Broadway. Inside Broadway, a look at theater on and off Broadway and beyond. Brought to you by Total Theater and Performing Arts Insider. Curtain going up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Inside Broadway we go. We do this every Saturday because I have been a theater writer, a theater critic, a playwright, an actor, a director, theater journalist. So I love the theater, love Broadway and off-Broadway, and love sharing that with you with theater news. Well, there has been a little bit of forward-thinking, positive theater news this week, letting you know that even though they still have not settled on a date for the Tony Awards, and yes, these are the Tony Awards that will be considering shows that opened back in 2019 through early 2020, up until the closing of everything in March. But there will be an awards ceremony at some point, and there will be Tony Awards voting. And the voting is going to be taking place March 1st through the 15th. So they're trying to push things forward. They don't want to set a date for the ceremony yet, because they want it to coincide, obviously, with a time when people can buy tickets and will buy tickets for the reopening of shows. So I would be surprised if we see the Tonys anytime before September or October, or even later than that. But yes, the Tonys will go on, and the voting starts next month. Well, Harry Hahn, when I was interviewing him an hour or so ago, brought up the two people that we lost in the theater world this week. We lost two really, really major folks from the theater world. So I'm going to tell you a bit about them. One of them, Hal Holbrook, died at the age of 95 last Saturday on January 23rd. Yeah, 2 Saturdays ago. Mm-hmm. Wow, I don't know why it took so long for the news to come out, but born in Cleveland, and his mom, I didn't realize this, was a vaudeville dancer. Hal and his sisters were abandoned by their parents, raised by their grandparents, essentially. We know him, non-theater people know him from Magnum Force, and he was Deep Throat in All the President's Men. The guy they met in the parking lot? Yeah. But we're going to talk theater here, because this is Inside Broadway. In college, in like his late teens, 20s, Hal Holbrook put together a one-man show about Mark Twain. Ed Sullivan came to see it, put Holbrook on tour, and back in 1959, he reached Broadway with Mark Twain Tonight. And then, it was off Broadway in 1959. It went to Broadway in 1966, won a Tony. He did it on television in 1967. It won an Emmy. He brought Mark Twain Tonight back to Broadway in 1977 and again in 2005. And what's funny is only when Holbrook did Mark Twain Tonight in 2005 was he finally older than the character he was playing after all those years since 1959. Wow. But Hal Holbrook was more than just Mark Twain. In 1961, he made his Broadway debut in a play called Do You Know the Milky Way, directed by Herbert Berghoff, the famed acting teacher. It lasted only 2 weeks, but in 1964, he was in the Arthur Miller play Incident at Vichy. He also was Marco Polo in the Eugene O'Neill play Marco Millions. Marco Polo. Directed by Jose Quintero. Zora Lampert was in it, David Wayne, and Crystal Field. I have to think that is the same Crystal Field who currently runs Theater for the New City. Let's see, in 1965, he played a bailiff in Lincoln Center Theater's Tartuffe. In 1965, he replaced Pat Hingle as the gentleman caller in A Glass Menagerie. Check out the cast. Maureen Stapleton, George Grizzard, and Piper Laurie. Not too shabby. 1965 saw him, I don't see this, but he was a replacement Don Quixote in Man of La Mancha on Broadway. I don't see Hal Holbrook, I mean, tall, okay, I get it, but I don't necessarily get it. In 1966, he replaced Alan Alda in the musical The Apple Tree. 1968 saw him in I Never Sang for My Father with Alan Webb, Lillian Gish, and Teresa Wright. 1969, he was on Broadway in the play Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? That essentially shot Al Pacino to fame before he hit the movies. 1997, Hal Holbrook was in the underrated Wendy Wasserstein play An American Daughter. And then 2005 was his last Broadway show, and it was the last go-round for Mark Twain Tonight. On TV, he did lots of theater shows, like he was in the Our Town that they did in 1977 with Robbie Benson, our friend of the neighborhood. Harry mentioned that he was very attached to his third wife, Dixie Carter. In fact, they gave him a recurring role on Designing Women. A performing arts center in Dixie Carter's hometown boasts a Hal Holbrook auditorium. So his name goes on in the work that you can watch on TV or on YouTube and stuff, and the theater memories that he leaves behind. A big farewell to Hal Holbrook. And farewell also to Dustin Diamond. Wait, why am I talking about Dustin Diamond on Inside Broadway? Dustin, of course, was Screech in Saved by the Bell. He had been battling lung cancer. He died on February 1st at the age of 44. Tough life that this fella had. I mean, that fame too early thing, and then figuring out a way to either capitalize it or just save his stuff. He did some jail time over a bar fight and sort of appeared in a porn film that later he admitted was like another person, his face superimposed over someone else's body in the movie. Weird. By the way, the name of the porn film, I'm not kidding, Saved by the Smell.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just, there was points when he was selling home kind of made-ish t-shirts just to try and save his house because he had a $250,000 mortgage on the house that he couldn't pay. I mean, he had issues. But one of the things that he did is that he did 2 off-Broadway shows. One, he was a replacement cast member of the awesome 80s Prom back in 2004, and then he came into off-Broadway's Bayside the Musical in 2013 as kind of guest stunt casting. So a farewell, an off-Broadway farewell to Dustin Diamond. Well, we are not saying farewell to this fine publication, Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway since 1944. This, when theater does reopen, whether Broadway goes first or off starts or off, this is where you're going to turn to the information that you need about every single show on the stages of New York. So right now, yes, it's pandemic, and what do we have in the issue? Well, we've got the shows that were playing when theater closed in March of last year, and the shows that were just about to open. Plus, we've got the shows that are circling the theaters for 2021 and 2022, and a map of the Broadway district, all on one page. We turn the page. These are all the theaters on Broadway, how many seats they have, what theater owner owns them, and do they currently have a show in them, or are they free? This is hugely important to theater producers and people in the entertainment industry. We turn one more page. These are the press agents. These are the people, if you want to get in touch with someone involved in a Broadway show, sometimes you can find through this magazine, in fact, an email, a phone number, but really you should be going through these representatives of all the Broadway productions. And they're all here with email addresses, physical addresses, and phone numbers, the press agents of Broadway. And then people, you are legitimately right to ask, what good is a theater magazine when there's not much theater going on? But as we've heard, there's a lot of theater going on online, be it virtual Zoom theater, or whether it's recorded shows that websites are showing for people to see. You can see it all right here in this listing, a guide to virtual theater. This is fantastic. You get the URLs right here, and you can watch shows. Some of them you have to pay a little money for, or you contact the press people if you're a press person. Others, they're just on YouTube. You have to go to look for them. Did you know? Well, I'll say in the rest of the Inside Broadway segment something that has to do directly with this. Anyway, we also, when theater starts up, a calendar listing of when shows start, previews, open and close, and then our comprehensive listing of every single production, everyone involved, how to contact them, where they are, what the dates are. You can't really find this information anywhere else for Broadway off and off. It's all in the pages of Performing Arts Insider. How do you subscribe? Go to performingartsinsider.com. performingartsinsider.com. It is a hard copy publication. You can save some money if you want by subscribing to we're not digital like an online website, but we can send you a digital copy of each issue, and that's a little bit cheaper to subscribe to. But whether you go for the hard copy or the PDF, you're going to want to go to performingartsinsider.com and subscribe to the Bible of Broadway. Well, speaking of Broadway, we do have a bit more of happy kind of theater news. I think maybe I'll save that for the last bit. We'll get to another bit of sadness and sad news. As Harry was talking about before, farewell to Arthur Christopher Plummer, the actor who died on February 5th at the age of 91. Born in Toronto, a director saw him in Pride and Prejudice in high school and cast him at Montreal Repertory. He then did a 1953 Othello on TV in Canada with Lauren Green, Bonanza's Lauren Green playing Othello. It was different times, ladies and gentlemen. He also did a lot of live television in the 1950s in America and a lot of live theater-related TV, like George Bernard Shaw's Captain Brassbound's Conversion and The Philadelphia Story, and he did a Hamlet for the BBC. Lots, and he didn't make it to Broadway pretty early. Back in 1953, in a one-night flop that starred Mary Astor, it was called The Star-Crossed Story, but he just stayed on Broadway. 1954, Home is the Hero. 1955, he was in Jean on Wheels' play The Lark with Boris Karloff, Julie Harris, our late friend of the neighborhood, Theodore Bickel, and Joseph Wiseman, with underscoring, incidental music by Leonard Bernstein. Not too shabby. 1958, he was Tony nominated for the play J.B. by Archibald MacLeish. He was in the Brecht play Arturo Ui in 1963. Same year, he co-starred with George Rose in The Royal Hunt of the Sun. 1973 saw him in and as Cyrano. 1973 again, he went from playing Cyrano de Bergerac to being in The Good Doctor, a Neil Simon concatenation of Anton Chekhov stories featuring Marcia Mason and Barnard Hughes. He was in Othello again, this time on stage, playing Iago opposite James Earl Jones. That was in 1982. 1988 saw him in The Scottish Play with Glenda Jackson, as Harry Hong was telling us. 94 saw him in Harold Pinter's play No Man's Land with Jason Robards. And then, of course, he played Barrymore, a solo show, 1997, won a Tony Award for that. Came back to Broadway in a 2004 King Lear through the Stratford Festival. And then his last Broadway show, 2007, Inherit the Wind, with Brian Dennehy and Dennis O'Hare. He was Tony nominated for that. Of course, he was in the film The Sound of Music, but he was also in The Man Who Would Be King, An Eyewitness, and The Insider, and A Beautiful Mind, and the Thornbirds TV series. He was married to Tammy Grimes for a while, and their daughter is Amanda Plummer, also an actress, and his third wife, actress Elaine Taylor, survives him. So a farewell, a big farewell, to the great and late Christopher Plummer. Well, not going to go out on a for once in the pandemic, we're not going to go out of Inside Broadway on a downer, because we have some theater-related Golden Globe nominations to announce for you. They came out on Wednesday. So here, for Best Picture, drama category, The Father, which is based on the play by Florian Zeller. Also, Best Picture musical or comedy, I'll have to say this one quietly, Hamilton, or The Prom. Both of those are nominated for Golden Globes. For Best Actress in a Drama, Viola Davis in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, based on the August Wilson play, and by the way, directed by our friend of the neighborhood, Ruben Santiago Hudson. For Actor in a Drama, Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman, also in Ma Rainey. For Actor in a Musical or Comedy, James Corden in The Prom, and Lin-Manuel Miranda in Hamilton. Plus, oh, she heard it, oh no. And for Actor in a Supporting Role, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. And for Best Screenplay, Florian Zeller again with Christopher Hampton on The Father. So, yes, a little bit of, again, happy theatrical news inside Broadway.
It's the famous gay white way, where the night is bright as day. Ain't Broadway grand?
It's not just a thoroughfare, it's a tingle in the air. Ain't Broadway grand?
It's excitement, it's romance, it's all fun and song and dance. This wonderland, you can be a millionaire quicker here than anywhere. Ain't Broadway grand?
You audition very well. You're in great form, you can tell. In Broadway grand. As you do your lash and take, we'll call you is all they say. In Broadway grand. Then it happens, they pick you, and your dream is coming true. Just as you planned. And that opening night is here, and the critics rave and cheer. Ain't Broadway grand?
Yes, it is indeed. Broadway is grand, and it's grand to do this program. Dave's gone by. I want to remind you, before we get to our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, that, again, you can watch this episode if you missed it, if you missed part of it, if you want to share it with other people. We'll be loading it onto our website within, hopefully, 24 hours. Plus all our old ones, going all the way back to the very first one that we did on terrestrial radio to, for years and years and years of Dave's Gone By, 783 episodes of the show before this one, the 784th. We were able to capture almost every single one of them, and you can listen to them or watch the more recent ones at davesgoneby.com. We also post the archives at archive.org, the audio archives at castbox.fm, and as much as we can on YouTube. We're even trying to put some links to the show on TotalTheater.com again, but it's really just bringing you back to davesgoneby.com. So it's all there. Remember that you can write to me, davesgoneby@AOL.com. Well, I guess people are happy when they see me. davesgoneby@AOL.com. Check the Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. What are you doing? Radio Dave 2 is my Twitter feed, the Twitter handle. By the way, we didn't give credit to Rabbi Saul Solomon, who was in the program.
That was intentional.
His website is shalomdammit.com. So if you like theater, you're going to want to see his show. It's called Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon, taped off Broadway a few years back. It's a very good recording. You can watch it right there on his website, shalomdammit.com, plus the 10 hilarious episodes of his show that he did for Long Island TV. And speaking of TV, don't forget that we're putting clips of Dave's Gone By episodes on public access television right here in Nassau County if you have Altice Optimum. It's Monday early mornings at 1 a.m. or Tuesdays early morning at 4 a.m., both of them on Channel 20. So if you happen to be flipping the dials late at night, 1 a.m. on Mondays, 4 a.m. on Tuesdays, you'll see just hour-long, segment of Dave's Gone By. It's really better to watch it at the website, but this is a way if people have never heard of the show and they're on Long Island and they're flipping, so what is this? It's this. So it's Channel 20 on early Monday or Tuesday mornings. You can watch parts of the show. Anyway, I'm reminding you the Rabbi's Twitter feed is at Rabbi Saul Solomon, and my Twitter feed is Radio Dave 2. And remember, you can either email me, davesgoneby@AOL.com, or post messages right here on the Facebook page, or send me direct message if you are a friend on Facebook. The main thing is to keep watching every week and to tell people, hey, check this show out. You might have a good time. It's pretty fun. Well, before we call it a morning, or I guess at this point an early afternoon, let us get poetical. Let us get serious. Let us get Dickinsonian. And, well, maybe not Emily Dickinson-like. Let us get Yeatsian. Miltonian. Yes, for I can write poetry too. It is not just for the high-toned people. Low-class people like me can write poetry as well, especially since Joyce and I know Greeley, Colorado very, very well. And so Greeley, living there, has made me write poems about many, many other places in Colorado. More well-known, less well-known. And I got it into my head to write these filthy little limericks about as many places as I could. I think I've got about 150 or so of them now. I keep trying to churn them out. At some point, the well will run dry, but it hasn't yet. And so we are going to Weston, Colorado today. Weston, Colorado, for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain,
Colorado, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, our Colorado Limerick, where we go today to Weston, Colorado. Let me tell you a little bit about it, as I always do. It's a tiny county in far southeastern Colorado, named after local pioneer A.J. Weston. It was apparently a pretty wild town back in the 1800s with 5 saloons and a jail that was constantly full. But now it's more of a quiet, touristy place with views of geological formations and mountains. It's got a church and a cemetery that are both on the National Historic Registry or Registry of Historic Places. So yeah, it's a sleepy little, like so many of these places, that you wouldn't even blink twice at, except if you look up, you see the Great Rocky Mountains in the distance. So Weston, Colorado, for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. You can keep the children in the room for this one, but why would you? Weston, Colorado. A filthy old codger from Weston, whose genitals fleas were infesting, tried adding flea... I'm sorry, I can't get through this one. A filthy old codger from Weston, whose genitals fleas were infesting, tried adding flea powder into his clam chowder and shot out his lower intestine. Yes. Send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby at AOL.com. Davesgoneby at AOL.com. I can't guarantee that I will reply to everything, but I do try and read whatever people write or give me thumbs up, whether it's on Facebook or to my email address. Well, this has been the 784th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. Big thank yous to Harry Horn. Make sure you get his movie quote book and his other book about cinema. Make sure that when he reggies his next book, you'll be there to read it as well. And thank you also to his husband, Charles Nelson, for being so much fun playing the Today Yesterday game. Opposite, David Sheward of TheaterLife.com, CulturalWeekly.com, and the David Desk blog. Leslie Hoban Blake of Critics Circle, which is a podcast that she does with our friend Charles Gross. And thank you also to my darling, adorable, and wonderful wife, Joyce, who's helping me out there in the background with the noises, with the watch party, and all of that. Thank you to Rabbi Saul Solomon for being with us as well. Thank you also to, or I want to wish a happy birthday to my father-in-law, Lawrence Weil. He's, how old is your dad? Is he 80? No, he's 70.
He's in late 70s. I forget the...
Late 70s. So, yes, train coming around the bend once again for Larry Weil. Wishing him... and a week early to wish a happy Valentine's Day to my mom and to my mother-in-law. So, yay. And to all of you. Because we will be back. And to my darling... I already said my darling, wonderful, adorable friend. I need a new adjective. What else can I...
So your Valentine's Day will be spent alone.
my incalculably wonderful...
Say it like it's a Godolian.
How would that be? The wife who helps me with my boots on. No. That was a waiting for a Godot. Anywho. So this was our episode. We should be back day before Valentine's Day, February 13th, with the 785th episode of Dave's Gone By. Not sure who the guest is. We have a bead in on one or two people, but we will be playing our Today Yesterday quiz. We'll have Inside Broadway. We'll have probably Rabbi Saul doing something. Grilly Crimes and Old Times. Today, Yesterday, all the usual stuff. And probably some new stuff too on Dave's Gone By. Until then, it's just for me to wish you stay healthy. You know, good luck getting the vaccine if it's around there. Good luck with the snow tomorrow. And gone by. Oops. Oh, I blew it. Gotta do it again. Hold on. And gone by.
Days gone by.